week. But if you had a 5-day week, hump day has arrived for you, and so have we.
3.5-day week for us.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that half day on Friday.
Mine's just a 3.
All the time. Yeah, you're going to Tucson. You're
I checked the
chilling,
weather. It's going to be great. It's like 75. It's going to be 81 on Sunday. My family's going to Nashville this weekend, or at least my parents are. It's like 15 degrees when they land tomorrow.
There's a reason.
Wow.
Yeah, that sucks.
There's a reason why spring training is in Arizona.
True.
At this time of the year.
Yes, absolutely.
Lovely month or two to be in Arizona. And by the way, these are the 2 lovely months to be in Arizona.
It's a fact.
After that, it goes
Springtime
downhill.
in Arizona is
Yeah.
nice.
Welcome into the Annie and Elsten program. Annie Halburn, Craig Elsten. Finally got my camera to work here. Braden Soprano, together in our Odyssey studios overlooking Murphy Canyon. We're ready to roll. We got 4 hours live local San Diego sports talk for you here. Going in between Ben and Woods and Gwen and Chris. A baseball-packed show today, Annie.
I would imagine. Just, we kind of getting the different sound bites and the clips and everything. And you can find that all on the 97.3 The Fan Twitter account and on Sammy's account as well. But a lot of stuff to get to. I ran into a listener this morning as I was getting my coffee, Caesar,
Wow.
a wonderfully nice man. And he told me all about how he was a fan, and he's a season ticket holder. Back in like the 70s and the 80s when the Padres would barely crack 80 wins at times. And that was a big celebration because they weren't losing 100 games. So these days feel like an embarrassment of riches. You know what I'm saying? Like if you grew up then and you grew up when the team really didn't spend a lot of money, really didn't win a lot, these are the glory days. However, his son is a little bit more uncertain about where things land. And his generation is more like, wait. How are we going to compete with the Dodgers? How are we going to compete with the rest of the NL West? What do we need to do? So
Raise the bar.
Oh, I thought you meant raise my mic.
Raise the bar.
Yeah, raise the bar.
Raise the bar.
Yes,
Raise the bar. I don't like listening to that.
Exactly. Well, no, I think it was like a good
It's
indication of the different kinds of fans
It
that are
is.
out there. They all exist, and none are right or wrong. They're all right in their own way. They all have different perspectives, and that's what makes fandom so fun.
You get the like, oh, well, it could be worse. You can enjoy it and all that stuff. I get that.
But his son is like, wait a second, though. We
Time to
got
raise the bar.
the Padres need to go win the World
Yeah.
Series, and how are they going to do that when if other teams are getting ahead of them or whatnot? So
I get it from the older generation. Like, well, back when I grew up, the Padres were terrible. Same with
Yes.
San Diego State basketball was awful. And I see the same thing with like TCU football. And I know it's these young kids don't know what it was like to deal with the terrible days of Padres baseball. Raising the bar. Got to raise the bar. It is better than it was, but it's time to get to the next step.
So it was fun to talk to him and listener of the station, which was great. But yeah, exactly. Like there's a confluence of opinions and perspectives, but I think that's what makes it also pretty fun.
If you had to guess what the Padres question of the day was today on social media, what would your guess be?
Wow.
It's a question that is about one player on the team. And they asked everybody's opinion whether or not that player should keep something or not.
Dylan Cease beard.
Yes. That is the question of the day on the Padres video question of the day today.
Wow.
The video is for Dylan Cease and Dylan Cease only. If you're not Dylan Cease, keep scrolling is the name of the caption.
It's a big topic.
Mixed reviews on the beard. Are you gonna slide into his DMs, Craig, and tell him what to do with the beard? He asked for that.
Not.
He asked for
I
that.
bet some females will slide into his
I
DMs
bet
and
so.
tell him what to do with the beard.
Yeah, I think just the very idea of myself and the phrase slide into DMs and Dylan Cease is creepy.
It was an open invite to everybody,
just
Craig.
definition.
Slide in there, Braden.
No, I don't.
Slide on
do
in.
that.
I do have a radio mic. I'd say that I preferred the look he had where he looked like, the thin mustached Western character.
Yep.
I liked that look for
I like
Dylan
the
better
Doc-
than the yes, thank
The
you,
Doc Holliday.
Doc Holliday, there it is.
Look is the best because we could do the Huckleberry bit the whole season.
If he was with the Yankees, he'd have to just take it all off.
Well, that could be
I
an
think he
next
gets
year
the
problem.
mustache though. You can keep the mustache with the Yankees.
No, you got to be clean shaven.
No, you can have a mustache.
You can have a mustache.
Yeah, the guy on the
thought it
mound
was-
right now has got. No, he doesn't. But they do have a. Haven't you seen all the old? You can have a mustache. Don't you remember Matt Carpenter's mustache with the Yankees?
I guess.
You can have a mustache.
I didn't think so. I thought you had to be clean shaven.
Yeah, except for a mustache. That's the only thing.
Except for a mustache.
The Yankees allow a mustache.
Okay, Don Mattingly.
Don Mattingly
I got
had a
it.
mustache.
Yeah, you're right. Never mind. Don Mattingly.
The mustache. See,
Yeah.
even more.
Okay.
It qualifies for every team. Makes you available for every team.
Now, just as you say this, for some reason, the reason is because MLB Network is always on in our room.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing the dang World Series.
Oh.
And I just looked up and watched Freddie Freeman homer while I was looking for a mustache. So I now hate myself just a very small amount more than before because I had to see that Freddie Freeman homer again. Let's never think of it again. We've got a great show lined up for you today. Very excited about today's program, especially given that, hey, it's middle of the week. You know, there's literally nothing going on in the world of sports. Like, we think about the All-Star break as being a dearth of activity. But this is a multi-game pause in the Four Nations before tomorrow's big game.
Yeah.
I'm pretty locked into college basketball right now.
Okay.
I mean, that's a sport.
It is a sport. You're
That's
right.
pretty popular right now online. And
That's
everywhere.
true. But
College basketball.
Okay, there was our game at 8 o'clock last night.
5 games left.
Aztecs game at 8 o'clock last night.
Yeah, 6-1.
They blew out
Yeah.
Fresno. That was great. That was great.
Frogs did upset. Tech last night.
Professional sports. Let me
Okay.
qualify. Professional sports.
Okay, there you go. All right.
Nothing is going on right now. There's the NHL is off. The NBA is off until tomorrow.
I was about to say I watched Ted Mendenhall last night on the UC San Diego State game.
There you go.
Highly
what?
entertaining.
Softball, baseball.
For baseball.
Baseball.
Aztecs
Outstanding.
won. It's a Tuesday though, Craig. You know how Tuesdays work.
I know. Tuesday starters, bullpen days.
It was a 10-7 game.
Freshmen.
Yeah. So
All the freshmen pitch on Tuesday.
shout out Ted Mendenhall.
Yeah. Shout out Ted. Awesome. Glad to hear he was out there on the mic. Triton Ballpark. Unfortunate that
Even
the
Guy
Tritons couldn't
Fieri
bring it
was in
down.
action last night.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
I believe that we shall win.
Yeah. Sitting courtside for the Aztec game. You
His-
think his son would tell him a better game to go to than the Fresno State
Well,
game?
maybe
but-
he wanted a guaranteed dub. Maybe he watched the last 3 weeks and he's like, which game are you sure to win, son? That's the one I'll come bring Flavortown to.
Yeah.
Flavortown to the show. Look out.
Flavortown show.
I think it's cool to see him all decked out in SDSU stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of cool,
Why
especially
not?
since he's a UNLV guy. It's even better.
What?
He went to UNLV.
Oh, wow. Little trader action.
Son's taking precedent
Going
over the
on.
Aztecs. Good.
Okay. So we know what he was wearing, but we don't know where his heart was. We know that his heart's red and black.
It is
but
red
we're
and
not
black.
sure which red and black it is.
Is it the scarlet and black or?
Does it have some of that cherry and silver in there? That
If he
would
grows
mess
out a
us up?
mustache like the Reb, then you know.
Fair point.
All right, but no professional sports really going on.
Yeah, there was no professional sports going on, so it was a quiet evening, and nonetheless, we've got a jam-packed show. Here's what we got lined up. Biggest thing is, as usual, just tipping our cap to the great Sam Levitt, who's just out there grinding. It's his job. He's just doing his job, It's like thanking anyone for doing their job. But Sammy's doing his job. He's out there getting the sound. He's collecting everything. We've got fresh stuff to deliver every day on our program that other people don't have, because we have the opportunity to work for this great station. So all of that is coming up, so much so that it has spilled the deep dive hour into multiple hours. Coming up later this hour, is there a better version of Jackson Merrill out there? Literally, this was a previous deep dive topic that we did, and somehow through osmosis, it's filtered its way to Jackson Merrill. He's ready to do the thing that could take him from star to every year star.
Superstar.
Super. We'll hear from Jackson Merrill. We'll hear from Dylan Cease. We'll hear from Luis Arraez, Jake Cronenworth, Yuli Gurriel. We'll have the Daily Shildt. The Daily Shildt is moving up today. It'll be at 11:20 instead of 12:20. As soon as I get to the rest of the rundown, that will make sense. So Daily Shildt moving into the 11 a.m. hour. We're going to hear from the kids. Didn't get the chance to play this yesterday. Ethan Salas, Leo DeVries, talking about their mindset going into, for Ethan, his third big league spring training camp. For Leo, really his first true big league spring training camp. We'll hear from those kids later in the Padres Hour at 11 a.m. We'll bring you the 12 o'clock Sports Fix, of course, at the midpoint of the program. Then we were chatting to him last week. We found a spot. Darnay Tripp is going to trip on in from NBC 739. Sports anchor, man of many hats. We'll chat to him about Padres, San Diego FC getting started, college hoops, SDSU, UCSD, all of that with Darnay. Welcome him in for a fun time at 12:20. Fun times continue when we bring in the All-Star panel for Match Game. That's today's silly game. We'll have two contestants. We'll be qualifying someone to go out to see Motley Crue in Las Vegas in March. Then at 1 o'clock, new head coach of San Diego Legion. They just got their season underway with a victory back at Torero Stadium, playing at Torero Stadium now full-time. John Manenti. He was the Olympic head coach for Australia's Rugby Sevens team in Paris last year. He's now the new head coach of San Diego Legion. We will catch up with him for a couple of minutes at 1 o'clock. We've got a critical question to be answered in college baseball of, is this eyewash or is this okay?
Yes. I don't know about Iowa. It's just, it's funny, but at the same time, it's so disrespectful. It's just, it's one of those. It's, let the kids play, or is this kind of ridiculous? On a Tuesday night between Georgia and Kennesaw State. It's a pretty funny video.
We're going to do that. We'll wrap up the show with Ask Us Anything. Fun show. All lined up. Moving at high speed. We are back to talk Aztecs when we return. And we've left a shorter segment for it because, guess what? They just did what they had to do last night. They just...
Yeah.
Get out of here, Bulldogs. Shoo, back to your cage.
Took care of business.
That team is not good.
Back to the kennel for the Bulldogs. We are talking about it when we come back.
Kennel.
We talk about it when we come back. Annie and Elsten underway. We go till 2. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. The Slam Dunk in Vegas National Contest is your chance at the ultimate trip to Las Vegas. And all you have to do is download the Odyssey app, log in, and listen to 97.3 The Fan for at least 1 hour to earn your daily entry into this national contest. The grand prize is travel and accommodations for a winner and 3 guests to Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's premium sports viewing destination, where you can watch the biggest March Hoops party at Stadium Swim, plus 20,000 cash. Welcome to everybody listening on the Odyssey app. And everybody who is not listening on the Odyssey app, think about getting an entry and just listening on the Odyssey app. It feels like, value neutral to you. You're listening either way. If you stream it through the app, you get an entry. If you don't, you don't. So, think about it. Think about it. All right.
If you don't know, now you know.
Now you do. All right, last night, 8 o'clock start at VA House Arena. You might be surprised to hear this, but I forgot that the game was
yeah?
Yeah.
Well, the opponent was one that they should have taken care of, and they did.
And they did. 2 straight games. Aztecs at home. I don't care who the opponent is anymore. Now, Boise State's a good team, but the Aztecs have played poorly against bad teams for a month running. Like a solid month running. So I don't care that Fresno State's bad. They're bad.
They're really bad.
San Jose State's no great shake.
Fresno did beat USD. I digress.
Woo, uh-oh. Fair enough. There are levels to this, just like everything else, right, Braden?
That's right.
There are levels to this. But nonetheless, coming off the heels of Saturday night's performance, where they got their feet underneath them, where they took a strong, positive step forward in their gameplay, just much more positive gameplay on both sides of the court, defensively swarming, offensively finding something with Nick Boyd, finding something with Guath. The Aztecs took a step forward, and then last night, Annie, they take the next step forward by easily handling a Fresno team to the point that all the walk-ons are in late.
Yeah, and it seems like they understand what's at stake and what they're trying to do here, and that the season is dwindling down, and they've got to make sure that they do their part. So they're continuing their hopes for the at-large bid, right, and to keep themselves alive. Yeah.
Just keep moving forward. As Braden told us yesterday, they were going to lose RPI points no matter what. Just by winning the game, they were going to lose RPI points, but they were going to lose hundreds more if they lost. They didn't do that. I think the Ken Palm, they crept up, ever so slightly, like a tick or two. And I will repeat what I said on yesterday's show talking about Saturday. Doesn't matter. That stuff doesn't matter. What matters is how they're playing. If they're playing well, then they've got a shot in that tournament in Las Vegas. And if they've got a shot in that tournament in Las Vegas, they've got a shot at an automatic berth. And then you don't worry about at large. And I think that's where the focus needs to be for San Diego State, is improve your play, get on a roll, go win the Mountain West Conference tournament, take it into your own hands, and leave Ken Palm and everyone else to figure out and sort the rest of the field.
Yeah, definitely. And you're not going to do that unless you're playing well. And so this is them taking care of business the way that they need to. And hopefully they can continue that. But yeah, once again, Boyd, great game. Magoon Guath, great game. You're really seeing a lot of these players step up. McKinney, great game.
Looking at one of the latest bracketology reports for locks, 1 win away from a lock. Louisville, Clemson, Oregon, 1-2 away. BYU, 2 wins away. Creighton, Baylor, New Mexico, Gonzaga, Nebraska, Memphis, 2-3 wins away. UConn and Utah State, 3 wins away from being a virtual lock for the NCAA tournament. West Virginia, Ohio State, San Diego State.
Well, okay then.
So they're in a should-be-in category now after a couple of wins, as long as they can win. How many games they got left? Like 6?
But now we're getting into the tricky part, right? Now you've got New Mexico, and you're going to get them coming here, if I'm correct. We've already
correct.
Lost at the pit.
You got Utah State on Saturday, 5 o'clock, at Utah State.
Very tough game.
If they lose there, they're not going to drop.
Right.
They got New Mexico at home, another quad win game. If they win, they're not going to, or if they lose, they're not going to drop. And then it's the other games that they have to win, right, at the minimum. So if you look at it,
Wyoming.
Yeah, at the Dome of Doom, they have to win, definitely.
The
but
AA Dome.
So it starts to make sense. 3 wins and they're probably in. They can't lose a quad 3 or quad 4 game, though. That would be catastrophically bad.
Got it. Okay, well, the most classic Mountain West stumble of all is to go to the Arena Auditorium.
The Dome of Doom.
In Wyoming and see them rain in some threes, or you clank it, or you're gassed because you're at like the all-time high altitude. That would be a classic, but I'm going the other way on this. I really am. I'm going the other way on this. Keep playing well and go into Utah State and win. Come home and beat New Mexico. Forge your own path. You win those 2 games. As you said, if you lose, you don't drop. But if you win, you go up, right? If you win, you're building your case. You're building your resume. So I think the key here is this interest. And I don't know if there's something going on with Miles Byrd. He's been a little off the last couple games.
Still bothered by a sprained right thumb, received a pain injection. So that's unfortunate going forward if it's still bothering him.
Yeah, that's true. Left-handed shooter, but still you need your right hand. But in the interim, you have seen the point guard Boyd take over as a driver.
He's done great.
Somebody, he picked up a lot of assists yesterday, but in the previous game, he was just regularly finding his way to the rack, just getting there over and over again, driving, penetrating, dish if you have to, but most of the time getting a layup off and being able to put points on the board for San Diego State. And his assertiveness has given San Diego State a little bit of an offensive rhythm and identity that they haven't had for a good portion of the season. Sometimes when Miles Byrd tries to take over, he takes over by trying to shoot 26-foot three-pointers and impress NBA scouts. And it's not the most efficient way for San Diego State to get things clicking. I like it when the ball's in Boyd's hand and he is the one that's initiating everything and really getting things under control with dribble drive in the half court. I think that's where you see a much better version of SDSU offensively.
To go back to the win 3, you got 5 games left. Win any of those 3 and you're probably in, because if you don't beat Utah State or New Mexico and you win 3, you take care of business against the 3 teams you should beat, you're going to be in the tournament. If you do drop one of those games, well, you're going to have a big win against either at Utah State or home against New Mexico. Probably is going to balance itself out. So go 3-2 in the next 5, and you're going to be guaranteed a spot. That being said, it'd be better to just win more than that, but we'll see. They will get a quad 1 game at Utah State in the net. They will not get a quad 1 game in the net against New Mexico at home because New Mexico is ranked 37 in the net. But at RPI, they'd get quad 1 wins, which is the dumbest thing ever. And the other thing, too, is with these quad games, they fluctuate based on how good the team does after you play them. So if, perfect example last night, BYU was 35 in the net, they jump up to 30. All of a sudden, somebody that beat BYU at home gets a quad 1 win instead of a quad 2 win because the quad 1 is only 1 through 30 at home and 1 through 75 on the road. And that fluctuates all the time to the point of last week, Drake's one of those bubble teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Drake lost. And since they lost to Bradley, since Bradley beat Drake, who was a better team, it flipped their game from a quad 2 to a quad 1 game, and all of a sudden Drake got the credit for a better team that they played because they lost to said team and made them better by losing to the team. That's the flaw in the system of the quad 1 and the quad 2.
It's almost as if we should just wait till the very end and let all the tumblers fall into place.
Wait till the very end, you said. Well, do you remember the game 2 of the year was North Carolina and Kansas? Kansas was number 1 in the country, and North Carolina was 9. Kansas lost by 31 last night at BYU, playing themselves out of the top 25. Probably will be an 8 or a 9 seed in the NCAA tournament. North Carolina is not even going to make the tournament.
Wow.
Maybe we shouldn't do preseason
rankings at all?
Top 25, AP top 25, because nobody knows.
That's been true forever.
It has been true forever. But seriously, one of the marquee games of the year starts the season. Kansas was picked number 1 overall to win the tournament this year. And they just lost by 31 points at BYU, who is in the middle, the upper of the Big 12, but still not necessarily a world beater team. Is it crazy? No, it's college basketball. It's college basketball.
You know what it is? It's the road. It's the road to March.
It is the road to March.
little bit longer this time.
I got to track the time on there so it officially goes longer. We
Yeah,
have 13 minutes and 25 seconds of that song.
Wow. At one point, we're just going to stare into the camera.
The Friday before Selection
Full
Sunday. It's going to be a full segment.
We just stare into the camera. The radio listeners are just like, did these guys fall into a hole?
You know what the radio announcers are? You know what the radio listeners are going to do? They're going to get super
They're
excited
just
for
gonna
March.
be like, they're just going to
They're
start
going to be like,
moving
let's
their
go.
shoulders.
It's college basketball time.
Just start moving your shoulders back and forth. It's a lot of fun.
Aztecs are in a good spot.
Try it.
Tritons and UC Irvine continue to move up the leaderboards as well. And we'll see where everything stands in a couple. We got 5 games left for the San Diego State. How many? I think UCSD's got like 5 or 6 left.
I think 6. Got 2 this weekend. I literally am excited to tune in even when they play like bad teams in front of 70 people on the road because this is such a special team. I just want to see these games for Aniwa Tate Jones and Tyler McGuy and Hayden Gray.
This is the future of the segment that we talked about earlier with Annie and the fan that she met. Craig is so excited. They've never done anything like this before.
Right.
And in about 10 years, there's going to be some UCSD students that are upset that the Tritons are in 3rd place in the Big West.
You're 100% right. There's
And
some
Craig's gonna be
freshmen on
like,
campus right now.
You know what? I was
Very
calling
true.
games. It was D3.
Yep.
That is me.
I remember when we beat Irvine on the road.
Very
That is
true.
me.
Good analogy there, Brady.
Remember that time we went to the NCAA tournament for the first time? It was such a blessing. Now it's like, we got a 9 seed?
Yeah.
BS.
I'm not happy with the direction of the program right now.
Let's fire the
Shut up,
coach.
you.
Well, that's what the TCU's made the tournament 3 years in a row, and they're struggling. They were struggling at the beginnings. Everybody wants to fire Jamie Dixon, and people before like me, I was like, we played 2 years of home games when I was a student at a high school for basketball. Things are a little bit different now than
I
they
walked
were.
uphill in the snow.
That's
both
right.
Directions.
I had to drive to Wilkerson Granus Arena off campus.
Yeah.
And watch them play on a burnt orange court for conference games in a high school stadium.
I mean, it's theoretically possible that you could walk uphill in the snow from your house to school, and then from school walk uphill to a secondary location,
Sure.
like your parents' work or something, or the factory where you go once school's over to
Yes.
get some good hard elbow
You
grease
have
in.
You should use that phrase. Yes.
Uphill in the snow both
ways. Mm-hmm.
Both ways.
Eyes up, keep climbing. UCSD 41 in the net. San Diego State 48 RPI.
Wow.
According to Warren Nolan. A little bit. I like the RPI better. It ranks everybody higher. The RPI does a better job of ranking the non-power schools, where like Irvine's 26 in the RPI and ranked really high, but in the net they're like 70 something. Meanwhile, teams like North Carolina are really high in the net, and then the RPI they're way below. Wonder what the factor is in the difference between the RPI and the net when it comes to conference play. UCSD RPI 42, San Diego State 45. Still doing pretty well.
Look at those Tritons.
Yeah.
Look at those Tritons.
They are doing what they
22
need to do.
Wins. By the way, King Triton bobblehead night Saturday when Hawaii is at Lion Tree Arena.
Oh, it's great.
First
Yeah.
X number of fans.
Will you be in attendance?
I wish I could be, man. It is Star Wars night for the Sockers that night. As they take on the Milwaukee Wave, they literally tip off and opening kick will be at the exact same time.
Oh man.
You got to get somebody to help you out with a bobblehead.
Yeah.
I would like a King Triton's bobblehead. I think it would be a nice addition. Like we've got Sister Mary back here. I think King Triton would go. And Joe Musgrove and his dog is
Did we get
also
a
back
Dutcher
here.
one?
I thought there was a Dutch one behind you. I thought I saw one like 2 days ago.
Did Scraby take it
Maybe
home?
someone took it. I
just
swear
blame
it was on the
Scraby.
windowsill.
One of my buddies has one and doesn't want it, so maybe I can commandeer it and bring it in. But I am afraid about bringing it in now. Somebody might walk away with it.
Thieving those.
Could it be the afternoon show that's all the Aztec alum?
It might have been. Maybe it was Tony. Maybe it was Chris or Tony.
Who's the only person who's in here by himself?
Scraby.
That's part of the Aztec
Yeah.
show.
Means, motive, opportunity. He has opportunity.
He can leave last without anyone
he has
seeing.
means, he has opportunity.
Yep.
Does he have motive? He's Scraby. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Scrabistan needs a cabinet, and
You can't trust the inner workings of the dictator of a country.
that's
great.
all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Okay, we take a timeout. When we come back, has Jackson Merrill stumbled upon it? Has he figured out the exact thing he needs to do to get better in his sophomore season and to take the next step forward, and a step that would benefit the Padres greatly? We're going to hear from him as we continue on the program. It's Annie and Elsten rolling till 2 o'clock, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com. Get a great deal on an iPhone 16 Pro. Available to you. T-Mobile. Bang. Okay.
Bang.
Baseball coverage begins right now on Annie and Elsten. Why wait till 11 when you've got so much sound? I mean, Sammy's doing so much work. It's like a kitchen that's just putting out great dishes.
It's a diner.
Right.
24/7.
Just shooting
Studio
out
diner down the street.
chicken and
Cranking it
waffles, shooting out a beautiful pastrami sandwich, blasting out an avocado omelet.
Got a Waffle House.
You got to eat it all, you know? I mean, you can't just let it go bad.
They do have Waffle House in Tucson. Maybe I should.
Ooh, do they?
They do. Yeah.
Huh.
There's one off the side of Interstate 10.
I don't think I've ever actually been to a Waffle House. I've certainly driven by a few in the Midwest.
It is phenomenal. Depends
Why
what time
is
you
it
go
phenomenal?
there. You get a lot. Well, you get a lot of food for not a lot of money, but it's good. It's good stuff. You get like the All-Star meal, All-Star special. You get like a waffle. The waffle's like the size of your face.
Okay. But is it like thin?
Yeah.
It's kind of thin, right?
It's not like one of the, yeah.
It's not a big old thick puffy Belgian-y waffle.
No. Let's see if I can.
I mean, like I watched the Anthony Bourdain episode when he went to Waffle House.
I like it. I think it's good. I mean, you know, you get the All-Star special. It's great. It's great bang for your buck. You get eggs, your choice of grits, hash browns, or sliced tomatoes, waffle of your choice, a choice of meat, either 3 slices of bacon, 2 patties of Jimmy Dean sausage, or hickory smoked ham.
Oh, well, okay.
$13.
I thought you were going to say 7 or 6 or 8. 13.
I mean, in this day and age,
Today,
13 is a
that's
lot.
affordable.
It
yeah.
is.
It
That's
is.
like a deal.
That's pretty for all that food. Are you
I
kidding
don't know if you
me?
can get that at Denny's anymore.
I was going to say, do you remember the $4 Grand Slam breakfast? Because I do.
The grits on the side. I mean, not a lot of places have grits.
Grits.
Grits are pretty money.
Are they?
I like grits.
Okay.
Mix a little cheese in there, a little butter. It's good stuff.
Saw the video of the dude who had to be at Waffle House for 24 hours for
I wanted a
finishing
fantasy
last
football.
Oh,
in his
yeah.
fantasy league, but every full waffle he consumed took an hour off his time.
They're
So
pretty
it was
thin. You could probably down a handful of those pretty effortlessly.
It was a long night
Yeah.
for that man.
Catches
a very
up.
long night. Yeah, then once you get to like the Waffle 5 or so,
But yeah.
yeah, big problems. It's 1, and I've had 6 waffles. What
Yep.
am I going to do now?
And like I said, there's different times of the day you don't want to be at Waffle House.
And he was there for every one of those hours, as it turned out.
Probably saw a lot of probably great people watching.
Yes.
I would,
would
if
agree.
Andy would go to a
Yeah.
Waffle House just for the people watching.
I went to one. I can't remember, but for some NFL trip I went. It was good. I don't remember it much more than that, but it was like, you know, what you would expect. It was good.
I had somebody text me.
Diner.
Somebody text me, listening to this, going, "Craig's never been to Waffle House." Explains a lot. I don't know what that tells you, Craig.
explains a lot.
Yeah, I think you got to get your ass to Waffle House.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like East County would.
I do
Waffle
too.
House would
I think it would thrive
kick ass
in
in
East
Santee
County.
for
Right.
sure.
It does explain that I've lived in Southern California my whole life.
That would explain it.
That
yeah.
that is factually true,
Gotta
and there's no
venture out.
Waffle Houses here. Now,
Right.
I've gotten plenty of traveling, and I've eaten plenty of regional things. I'm just really struggling to think that I've actually been to a Waffle House. Maybe once, but I think I would have. And I usually go out of my way for these things, like White Castle. You don't have a White Castle
Yeah.
here.
I had White Castle for the first time in Nashville.
Yeah.
And it literally tasted just like the frozen version
Yeah,
of it. You
it
get
pretty
in
much
pods.
does.
It was like the same thing.
It pretty much does. When I went to Cincinnati, I had Skyline chili.
I didn't get the
Right.
Skyline chili in Cincinnati. It was hard to pull off.
Yeah. So, I try to be regional, but I
Well,
think I've missed the Waffle House.
Would
Been
I
to
have gotten
Denny's, been to
credit-
plenty of other diners.
Let me ask you this. Would I have gotten credit for getting the Skyline chili at Great American Ballpark, or does that not give it the full?
No, you get credit.
You get
Yeah,
credit.
I think you get credit.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes like the Borden Brew is better at Borden Brew than it
Yeah.
is at Petco Pie. So like, I want to give it a fair shake. First
Yeah.
time going, fair shake.
Sure.
I feel like you can't do it at a ballpark.
That's fair. And I think you would get C grade Skyline.
Probably be average, and I don't want to give them a bad review.
Right.
Right.
Like
Well,
6.2 chili here because
right.
the Reds made it.
As opposed to the 16-year-olds down the street.
That probably
Skyline
actually know how to make
franchise.
it.
Right.
The last thing I need is Mr. Redlegs making me chili. It's probably not very good. Is this a mustache hair? Get the gross.
All right. With that, let's turn our ears and eyes on YouTube to Peoria. And, if I were there, I think I would ask Jackson Merrill, what's your go-to Waffle House order? Because as an Eastern Seaboard kid, he's probably been to Waffle House.
We got Waffle House in Maryland? I don't know why they wouldn't.
I don't know why they wouldn't.
No, you'd have to ask me like Wawa or something.
Well, he'd definitely have Wawa opinions as well. Nonetheless, here's Jackson Merrill. About a 2-minute clip from yesterday morning at Padres spring training that we didn't have a chance to get to yesterday. And we'll transition from this into an MLB piece that got me quite hopeful when Annie shared it to us earlier this morning. Let's hear from Jackson.
Obviously such a successful rookie year. How do you build on what you did last season?
You just play hard. You keep playing hard, try to win a World Series. That's the main goal every year. Screw the stats. That's what I always say. Screw the stats. So I'm here to win games.
I think I know the answer I'm going to get here, but I'm going to ask it anyways. All the offseason talk was about what the Padres didn't do, what other teams did do. Do you guys hear that noise, and do you care?
No, we don't care. Whoever we got in the locker room, we're ready to go with. I'm ready to go to war with. If you're on our team, you're a brother, So whoever we sign, it doesn't matter to me. We don't need anybody on $100 million contracts to win games, So let's do it.
What's it mean to have a veteran like Jason Hayward joining the outfield, maybe a Connor Joe out there, stuff like that, just to have these guys around you out there?
Yeah, it's awesome. Jay Hay being a former MVP, obviously Connor the homegrown kid, so it's pretty fun. We got a mix of personalities, and I'm excited to get to know everybody.
Obviously, this time last year, everything was new, but in particular, learning center field was new. How is that different this time around, now having a full year under your belt out there?
I'm still here to make a team, It doesn't matter how many years you have under your belt, you still got to make the team. So I'm treating it the same way. Put my head down, going to work, and trying to beat everybody for a spot, Obviously, there's my teammates in here, but I want to be the center fielder on opening day.
Defensively, is there anything you're trying to work on in particular this spring after having that year under your belt in center?
Just run and catch it, That's all I'm trying to do. So I want to get to more balls, probably see if I can get a little more wall balls, balls that are closer to the wall, homers, trying to take some more away. But other than that, no, I'm ready to just go play the same game. I felt like I did okay, and I can obviously get better. You can get better in everything every year, so I'm just excited to work.
Are you one of those guys that uses what happened at the end of last year as fuel, or are you flush it and start over kind of guy?
Yeah, last year was last year, and obviously it fuels us, and you never want to feel that feeling again, but at the same time, it's over with, it's done with. We got a year to look forward to, so, we're locked in on that. We're locked in on 2025 now.
Jackson Merrill's locked in.
Locked.
Yeah, great to hear from him. He's always keeps it very real in his interviews, which is great, and wants to make the team. I have a feeling he's going to make the team, but love the attitude that he's out there to go ahead and prove himself again.
I did
chuckle on a
chuckle.
limb here.
I did chuckle at the you don't need $100 million contracts to win ball games when the guys like to his left and right have $300 million contracts and others have $100 million contracts, and he would probably really like a $100 million contract, and at some point that'll be on the table for him. So I just found that to be fun. Like, I want to remember the joyful Jackson of his youth, these age 20, 21, 22 years.
Yeah.
Sounds like a match game question.
Joyful Jackson.
Joyful Jackson.
Think he's going to make an appearance. That could happen.
Interesting.
That could happen. Just, one of these days you get a little older, you get into a big contract negotiation. Some of these sentences will change over time, but I think the spirit of the young man hopefully remains extremely intact.
Yeah, and right next door to him is his best friend T. Wade, and so, Tyler's an example of someone who doesn't have a big contract, but is going to try to find a way to impact the team. And Jackson will get his. If he keeps playing the way that he played last year, he's definitely going to get his. But I think that his energy is something, especially in these early 20s, that a lot of other players in the clubhouse, veterans with the big contracts, they look at him and they go, I remember those days, and it's fun to have him like that now. He'll come into camp at some point and he'll be like, okay, I'm not, I know I'm going to make the team. I'm going to maybe pace myself a little differently, but right now he's in the young 20s phase, which is fun, contrasted to the rest of the clubhouse.
And with that, AJ Cassavell posted something last night that really got me excited, because it's literally something we did a deep dive on earlier in the winter, which is the fact that Jackson Merrill, for all the things that he did so very well last year, and he did so many things so very well. He only had 29 walks. He didn't even get to 30 walks, and that's with a full season, 593 plate appearances. Walk rate was under 5%. And I remember it was a couple weeks ago we went through that Fangraphs article, Annie, that kind of pointed out the difference between guys who have had a season like his as a rookie, and it was this list of all-stars and future Hall of Famers, and then guys who had a season like his as a rookie, but also such a low walk rate, and it threw in some really random guys, Jose Tabata type guys. So you want to stay off that list and you want to stay on the All-Star Future Hall of Famer list. The way to do that is to draw some more walks. You wondered, is Jackson going to abide by that? Is it see ball, hit ball? Does he have it on his mind? So it was really exciting to then read this story, Patience Could Unlock an Even Better Version of Merrill, where he and Mike Shildt talk about him adding selectivity to his game, aggressive selectivity, and making that a new feature in his second year.
Yeah, and it was interesting to hear Mike Shildt say yesterday, he was asked about walks and said, we're a team that is going to hit the ball. We want to hit, and that's obviously a priority with Victor Rodriguez, with their approach and their intent to the game. They're going to value hitting over walks, as you would imagine most teams, but especially with this team and the way that they look at how they want to build their offense. But they're not going to shy away from walks is kind of what they're saying. And I think Jackson knows, and I thought A.J. Cassavell did a good job of saying, this is nitpicking because he had such a good season and he's got such a good potential ahead of him. You don't want to change too much about him. You don't want him to not be aggressive, but he can find those edges where he can work in the walks in certain positions and not chase. And now that he's going to probably be at the top of the lineup or be in that 2, 3, 4 spot, he's probably going to need to find ways to do that regardless.
Yeah, I look at it, honestly, the same way as I look at Luis Arraez. When you're a great hitter, you're going to have that aggressiveness because you have the ability to get the bat to the ball. And that's Jackson's number one carrying trait that he brought with him to big league baseball was bat-to-ball ability, the ability to square the baseball, the ability to make contact. So that's going to be a carrying trait for him throughout his adult career in Major League Baseball. The thing is to make that work for you because it's the old Jeff Goldblum meme of just because you worked on finding out if you could, you never stop to think if you should. There's a lot of pitches that you can get to if you're Luis Arraez or Jackson Merrill, but you shouldn't because those are the pitches that are pitchers' pitches that you can make an out on. And sometimes you get a hit on it that other guys can't get to, but a lot of other times you make an out on it that other guys are just taking that pitch and waiting for a better pitch to hit. So just a slight refinement, not a major refinement, can do major benefit for Merrill. And this is the part that really got me excited, Annie. It was deeper into AJ's story. He says this. On the spring training backfields, Merrill is getting started on the homework. Okay, because this is what Merrill said in his quote. He said, I'm still going to be aggressive, dude, but I'm just going to eliminate certain spots. I'm going to know where pitches are starting, where they're going to finish. I'm going to do a lot more homework this year.
Yeah.
Annie, he read the Fangraphs story. Remember, the Fangraphs story literally said, what if Jackson Merrill started doing his homework?
Yeah. I mean, that's very true, right? I mean, and this is a good time for Jackson to do it. Do it in spring training. It's hard to do during the season when you go up to the plate and you're just trying to get something done for your team and you're trying to be productive. You don't want to overthink it so much. So this is a good time during spring training. Go ahead and put some of that to use. Figure out what's going to be your system and how much homework you're going to do and how much that's going to help you or not the next day or at that plate that day. And that's kind of what you want to build upon.
So here's what he's doing, according to Cassavell. On Monday's first full squad workout, he was taking live batting practice with intentionality. Only swing at fastballs. Every breaking pitch, I am simply going to identify and watch.
Yeah, it's great.
And if it bends in for strike 3, no big deal. Because that's not, my result doesn't matter. All that matters is I'm identifying the fastball spin. I'm identifying the breaking ball spin. I'm swinging at fastball. I'm going to take every breaking ball, even if it's a hanger that I would crush in a real big league game. And that type of very specific work. And then again, saying I'm going to eliminate certain spots. That Fangraphs article talked about up and in. being one spot that he chased at his highest rate and had his least success. If he's actually identifying these things and working on them, the future is bright for Jackson Merrill.
Yeah, I mean, I think the future's bright for him regardless, but getting better on the margins is where he is going to find his best success. So absolutely, that'll, as a player, that's what you got to do, right? Continue to grow and continue to improve.
Still to come, Dylan Cease, Luis Arraez, Jake Cronenworth, Yuli Gurriel, Ethan Salas, Leo DeVries. Holy cow, we're talking baseball here. It's Annie and Elsten on The Fan. 11 a.m. on the Fan. Welcome back, everybody. It's the Annie and Elsten Show here with you. Annie Halbert, Craig Elsten, Braden Soprano coming your way on 97.3 FM radio. Welcome, radio listeners. Coming to you live on the Odyssey app. Stream for the next hour. Get yourself an entry to the Slam Dunk in Vegas National Contest. Grand prize, a trip for four to Circa to watch the big hoops at Stadium Swim with $20,000 cash in tow. Shout out to all y'all on the app. Someone told me last week, Braden, that the leave an audio message button was malfunctioning.
Yeah, we got a corporate email about that.
Is it still on the fritz?
I don't know. Haven't got an email since.
Is it like the McDonald's ice cream machine, just
It just doesn't
perpetually
work.
broken?
What's
Sounds
today's
like
date?
it.
The 19th? We got some messages from the morning show yesterday
Oh, that's
and some
good.
other times, so I think it's back to working.
All right. Well, then leave us a voice message on the Odyssey app. It's right there, right next to the Listen Live button. It says leave an audio message. You can leave us a message. We'll play it later in the show. And ask us anything if you do. Leave us a funny one. We'll play it for sure.
Make it entertaining.
Yeah, why not? We're also a podcast. We come your way on all your regular podcatchers. Looking for those 5-star reviews if you're on Apple Podcasts, if you're on Spotify. Solid written reviews. Always appreciate those. Last and certainly not least, on YouTube. The gang's all here. Our baseball gang's here as well. Appreciate you all. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Let's get a closer to 1-to-1 ratio of viewers to likes, please. And if you've forgotten to hit subscribe, please hit subscribe and be aware of all our 97.3 shows. All of our shows are live on YouTube. Okay, we heard from Jackson Merrill. We talked about his exciting... I mean, I am reading that quote. I'm literally reading that quote as somebody gave him the article and he read it.
It could be. I mean, he's pretty well read during the season. He sees everything that's going on and sometimes talks to us about what's written. So could be.
Doing his homework. That's a tell. That's a tell. He used that phrase. I'm really excited about that. Let's keep moving. We've got lots of content to get through and get to, including Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease, the bearded one, chatted. We got 2 links there there you go. And in the first, he speaks more generally about being involved in trade rumors, an off season where Harold Reynolds had him dealt, pretty much every morning of the week if he was tuning into MLB's signature show.
I think he's still trying to deal him.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. For sure he is. Dylan seems to be the kind of guy that just lets that stuff pass right on by. Mm-hmm. Let's hear from Dylan Cease on that topic and more.
All right.
And so we shall.
Yeah, and he dealt with it last year too, so pretty used to it now.
Here he
It's
comes.
not something that really gets in my way in any way. But I have been going through them now for a couple of years, so maybe it's like background noise now, I guess. At me or anything, it's not something that.
What's going on with the computer?
That's it.
Oh, that was it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought it was a minute clip. Sorry. Yeah, well, it's true. He has dealt with it in the past. He's done well with it in the past, and when he was with the White Sox, I think it was like 3 years in a row that they talked about trading him. So
The beard one
Yeah,
is
and I mean, if you're Dylan Cease, you just want to know where you're going to be so you can have a good season before your walk year,
And here it is. Walk year has arrived. Okay, let's hear the beard question. This is
This
what we
one's
really want to
longer.
get to.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Finally, the beard. A little bit of a different look for you. What was the inspiration behind the beard?
No inspiration, just let it keep going. And then I woke up and I was like, man, we've taken this far. How far can we take it? So I don't know how long it's going to stay or go, but it's getting a lot of attention, which maybe it'll make me shave it. We'll see.
So we have possibility of like a beard down to here maybe this year?
It's possible. I don't know if I can get it that far in a year. I could probably get it. I could probably double its size though by the end of the season. So we'll see. We'll see what whatever the fans want. Send me some DMs. I'll do whatever you guys want.
Careful.
Careful.
Immediately careful is what is relayed. Yes, careful. Careful,
Yeah.
Dylan. Okay, well, let's all help out. Beard yay, beard nay. What do you say?
I prefer the mustache.
Okay.
I don't really have an opinion. I like the beard. Keep the beard.
Keep the beard. Okay.
Fear the beard.
Fear the beard.
Yeah, I'd rather see it trimmed up. He looks like a mountain man right now.
This is very like Brian Wilson-y.
Yeah, his mustache looks ridiculous right now. One side is way longer than the other. Like one side is hanging over his lip on the right side, and on the left side it's
Mm-hmm.
looks like it's up.
You look like Doc Holliday got lost in the desert.
Yeah, you can keep the beard, but let's
Clean it up a little bit.
let's clean it up. Let's clean it up.
I still prefer the mustache.
Yeah.
The mustache is better.
That me too. Doc Holliday. I
Doc
want
Holiday.
the thin mustache
Yeah.
look. I
I'll
like
be your
that.
Huckleberry.
Yeah, that / he looks like he belongs on a 1895 baseball card
Yeah.
that came in a cigarette pack.
It literally looks like you should be in the movie Tucson
Going
or
old school.
Tombstone. You should be in Tombstone.
It's all up to you, man. Whatever lets that slider slide. That's all that matters to me.
He's morphing into his cat. Jocelyn says.
That could be true.
I remember in the COVID year when I tried to let my beard grow out as far as I could. Useless. Just
Yeah, couldn't do it.
no. First off, the sides, it's just never going to happen. It just looks
Right.
It's patchy.
patchy and dumb and lame.
Right.
Looks awful. And then I tried to let the bottom grow out, and it just kind of started going to the side. It was like
Yeah.
it wasn't helping me.
The
at
General
all.
Burnside
Yeah,
look.
almost. Yeah, and so that, like one time I saw it in a picture or something. I'm like, oh god, this looks stupid. I look like I'm from a citizen of Whoville. So I had to trim that back down. I had to get that back under control. But we digress. There's Dylan Cease. There goes the beard. Here comes Luis Arraez. Let's hear from the 3-time defending batting champion across 2 leagues about his return from injury, trade rumors, and more.
You and Manny Machado and Tatis Bogart, you guys have all talked about being healthy. How big could it be to have you guys first 4 hitters in that lineup if you're all healthy to start the season?
Yeah, it's a good question because we work hard for that. When I saw Manny and Bogey move pretty good, I said, wow, if we're healthy, it's a lot of things got problem with us when they fail us.
How much pain were you in last season trying to battle through that thumb injury, and how difficult did that make it for you?
A lot, but I try to put my mind strong and I say, hey, no pain, no game. So I don't want to put excuse, but that was a lot. So I just use my mind, my body, and then thanks God, I win another batting title, and then for my team too, and then the team support me. If I saw Manny bend down, Bogey bend down, everybody bend down here, and then we win a lot of games like that. So this year is another year, and then we focus on that.
I mean, how much confidence does that give you, saying you're in a lot of pain and you win a 3rd straight batting title?
I trust myself. I work hard for that, and then I prepare my mind to play every day.
It sounds like you're going to be the everyday first baseman or regular first baseman. Are you excited about that?
Yeah, I'm not at first base. I'm not at the age. I play second base, But if in my chill say, hey, you come play first base, I'll be there, I'm a teammate. I want to play every day. If I see my name in the lineup, I'll be excited and happy.
You made it clear at the end of the season that you wanted to remain a San Diego Padre. You're tired of being traded. Did it bother you to see some of the trade rumors that surrounded your name and some of your teammates during this offseason?
I don't pay attention about that. It's a lot of people talk about my train. He go to the Yankees, he go to the Lions, the Texas, whatever they want to do with me. They can talk about train, but I'm still here. I got this beautiful uniform. I support this uniform, and then I feel good here. So I'm here to play baseball and then try to win the World Series.
How much fun did you have last year playing in front of the fans at Petco Park?
It's amazing. Like when I saw Petco Park full every day, I said, wow, we need to do something good for them.
I love Luis Arraez.
Yeah, hard not to be happy when you're around him, and good to see a smile. And, that thumb really bothered him last year. Still won another batting title, still had a very good season, but you get to see now, hopefully, what he looks like without having an injury and without even being traded. To have a full season in San Diego should be really, really exciting for him and for fans.
Concur. Think we didn't get to see the real Luis Arraez after the last week of May, and we got him in like the first week of May. So I only think we saw a month of what he really is. And those were days he was getting 3-4 hits like all the time, spraying the ball around. Yeah, that's the hottest version of him, but it's what he can do. He can stay hot for 4 months in a row and hit over 400. He did that just 2 years ago. So it's really exciting to think about him being healthy. Now, we got to talk about the quote about defense.
You heard it there. I mean, he would prefer to play second. But that is what the team needs of him, is to play first.
And he said, hey, if Mike Shildt tells me to do whatever, I'm going to do whatever. And maybe Rafael Devers could have taken a note or two from what Luis Arraez said there. But at the same time, Luis Arraez, this is the thing. This is the thing. This is why he is such a difficult player for Major League Baseball to evaluate, Annie, because in his mind, he is a second baseman. In baseball's mind, he's not.
Yeah.
Like, baseball has decided this. You're not going to find a club, or maybe you'll find one next year that is willing to give Luis Arraez second base and just say, Luis, second base is yours for the next 4 years, rock and roll. Almost every single team is going to make some mouth noises about it, be like, oh, yeah, well, we know you like second, blah, blah, blah. And then, boop, shunt him off to first base or DH before you know it, or try and teach him to become an outfielder. He has not put out the defensive output that allows him to play the keystone position, and yet he wants to play the keystone position. It's this disconnect that leaves Luis Arraez eligible to become extended, honestly.
Yeah, he probably doesn't have the leverage to be able to put his foot down too much and at any defensive position. I know he doesn't like to DH, and so I think that, and mostly, I mean, there's really no one in the lineup that likes to DH. So I think that his being able to play defense, if he's a starter most days on defense, will probably sit better with him than, okay, maybe I don't get to play second, but at least I'm playing defense. I don't have to be the everyday DH. I don't think he wants to do that at all.
Most importantly, I think he made it very clear he wants to play for the Padres. Like, he wants to be here. He wants to be on this team. He wants to be in this clubhouse. While he likes to play second base, he's not saying it in that price of eggs kind of way that makes you, figure, oh, well, he's gone. I think he would be thrilled to come to some sort of reasonable accommodation with the San Diego Padres going forward.
Yeah, and I mean, if they can get that done, that's great. If you can get something done with him during the season, that's great. Or at least even at the end of the season to say, hey, we've got first dibs talking to you, right? Like, we want to be able to at least come to you first and you come to us first and say, hey, can we match up on these numbers? If he has another good season, again, it's kind of like, where does the market value him? But, and what is he looking for? I think he is tired of being traded. I'm sure he would love a multi-year deal with a team where he gets to settle down with his wife and his family and say, we're going to be here for at least the next 3 to 4 years. And maybe that's something that he'll get in free agency.
11:13, let's take a break. We got Jake Cronenworth queued up. We got to get to Mike Shildt. We got Yuli Gurriel. We got so much. We got so much. It's just wall-to-wall Padres content continuing. Annie and Elsten, Padres Deep Dive Hour on the Fan. We're heading down the stretch in the NBA season. We're heading down the stretch in college basketball. There's nothing as exciting as hoops. And with Underdog, you can bring that excitement to wherever you watch. Playing on the Underdog app is as easy as choosing higher or lower on players' stats like threes made, points, rebounds, and more. Get those picks right. You could win up to 1,000 times your money. Millions of fans have won over billions on Underdog. Are you going to be next? You can join in on the fun by signing up for Underdog today using promo code Craig, CRAIG, and you'll get a free pick as part of your first cash entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's promo code Craig. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona and Massachusetts, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. If lonely is the night tonight and the demons are coming to light for you, consider spending time with Sam Levitt instead. He will make your night less lonely tonight. Don't go there. No, I'm just talking about a radio show. Inside San Diego Baseball with Sam Levitt. It's Wednesday, 7 to 9 p.m. right here on 97.3 The Fan and on our YouTube page. Sam talking all things Padres baseball, keeping you company. Lonely is the night. Not when Sammy's here. Inside San Diego Baseball. Coming your way tonight. Can't wait to hear it. All right.
That's not Scraby's music for Scrabistan.
Oh, that's actually the
Billy
national
Squire.
anthem. Lonely is the night.
Wow. National anthem of Scrabistan.
Oh, man.
Billy Squire, Lonely is the Night.
They only have Billy Squier sing it too. He is one of the only other citizens of Scrabistan.
Of Scrabistan. Oh, poor Billy Squier.
He's been given a permanent ambassadorship. Anyhow, any hoodles. We have to recruit Scraby for match game today.
I know. I wonder
I don't know
if
if
he's planning on it.
Yeah, I haven't even seen Greg yet.
No, I haven't either.
I haven't.
Got to check in on Greg.
Has finally his high is worn off from the Eagles.
I hope so.
Winning the Super Bowl, he's passed out now. He's got to go into hibernation for a couple of months.
I mean, he straight sabotaged last week's game, so we'll find out. He may have led to a question being written in his honor because of his sabotage. So
yeah.
Still to come. That's still to come. About an hour and 20 minutes from now. We're deep into the Padres Deep Dive Hour. There's so much content that Sam et al. Have created for us. We're trying to dig our way through it. Let's continue with Jake Cronenworth. What do we got here, Braden?
First clip from Jake that we had posted.
Here we go.
A lot of trade rumors follow this team during the offseason. Was it a bit of a relief to walk into this clubhouse and see a lot of pretty much the same familiar faces here?
Yeah. No, I feel like that's us every offseason. Yeah, you guys know how AJ is. But no, I mean, I think it's great. We have such an awesome group. And I think you can interview anybody in here and hopes that everybody stays, and because it is such a close group. But no, it's great to see everybody.
How about the guy next to you, Jason Hayward? What does he bring to this team?
Yeah, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to know Jason for a long time now. This was actually the first year we didn't hit together in the off season over the last 4 years. So he opened up his own facility. So, but no, we've known each other for a long time. What an incredible person off the field, and fortunate enough to be able to play with him on the field now.
And both Fernando and Manny have talked about health-wise being some of the best they have in years. How potentially big is that for this team?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everybody's coming very healthy, which is huge. And I think for us to get off on the right foot for spring training, and everybody's feeling their best. There might be a little flu bug going around, but no, it's awesome.
You've obviously bounced around the diamond position-wise. What's it going to mean to kind of have some stability of position, and what's it going to be like to work with Bogey again?
Yeah, no, I think, not just for me. I talked about it at FanFest, for him as well. Us up the middle, we found out fairly early in the offseason where we could prepare and, train a specific way to prepare ourselves for that. And, now we have spring training where him and I can go out every day and work together and build that chemistry.
First reaction from that, Annie, is while we've talked about some position changes along the infield and just speaking to Luis Arraez about guys who aren't necessarily in their best spot, Jake is. Putting Jake at second base is putting him at his best defensive position and the one where I think he has the most to offer the Padres. And there were times last year where that was reversed and you could have Arraez at second and Croney at first. I think they're much better off in this configuration.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think it's good to see Jake and good to see him looks like he feels well and he feels healthy. And I think that he, as much as anyone in that clubhouse, knows that this team can be really dominating when they have that health behind them.
All right, we got one more from Croney. Let's hear what else he had to say. In clip number 2.
Other teams did not what the Padres didn't do rather. Just, do you guys hear that noise and do you guys care about it?
I think if you ask anybody in this clubhouse, they're very confident with the group that we have in here. I'm sure that's been a lot of guys. And no, we have a lot of returners. We have some new faces that are going to help us win. And it's going to be a fun year.
What things are you particularly working on this spring and just looking forward to as you get into the spring?
Yeah, I always come into spring with, kind of the same goals and, to get ready for opening day. But, I work my butt off in the off season, looking to improve every facet of my game, whether it's at the plate or base running or in the field and, getting stronger and faster. So that was a really, really good off season.
I heard a lot of talk around the batting cages, guys saying we're not getting ready for the season, we're getting better. What's the difference?
No, I think, there's a fine line of that because you do want to get ready for the season, but I agree with that. I think us as a group, we know who we are now. There's a lot of the same guys returning, and I think as a group, we're looking to get better as a group. And what can we learn more about each other? What can we learn new about each other? How can we improve our team defense or even our team offense and, continue to grow and improve all that?
Can you see that happening day by day and rep by rep, or is it something that you kind of notice over time?
Yeah, no, I think you can see both. I think, you take each individual day as its own, and you go out there with the mindset that, today we need to get better at whatever we're working on. I think today's cuts and relays. So, let's do the best cuts and relays we possibly can as a team and get better at that. And then tomorrow might be first and thirds. The next day might be pickoffs, whatever it is. And then you got your own individual stuff where, Bogey and I will be working up the middle every day and trying to be the best double play turners and, have the best chemistry and communication every day.
Yeah, it's great to hear.
Yeah, good stuff from Jake Cronenworth, who is such a consummate teammate. I think he knows what he is. He's gotten the contract at a stage in his career where he knows he doesn't have to prove himself basically the rest of his career. He's got the security. He's got the length of time in terms of commitment. And I guess the last thing to not be redundant, but, I saw, for example, Prolific in the chat was like, well, we need him to produce better than 241. That's not enough. His career average is 247. Like, that's about where he's been. He actually was under 241 the 2 years prior to last year. However, the offense, Annie, that Jake Cronenworth creates for a second baseman is above league average. The offense he creates for a first baseman is below league average. So I feel like putting him back in a spot where his bat plays better is an advantage to the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, it's really bothered him in previous years when he hasn't been able to produce. I mean, he wears it. It really gets to him. So I think he still looks at this year like one where he's got to do his part. And I don't think you're ever going to see Jake come in and kind of, feel like he doesn't have somewhere to improve. Like, this is a guy who, didn't even know if he was going to make a team back in, what was it, 2020, or when he took over for Eric Hosmer when Eric Hosmer got injured, and he's been able to hang on and be part of it after toiling away in the minors for a long time in his career. So I think I'll always kind of have that mindset. And for him, yeah, second base, I can't remember if those numbers ended up evening out or not. It sounds like he does better at second, you're saying. So good for him. I mean, yeah, hopefully that shows in his offense as well.
What I mean by that is not, although it was true that last year he actually hit better as a second baseman. Yeah. It's just that no matter where he is, it's just the nature of it. From a first base position, you expect certain things. Now, Luis Arraez isn't a classic first baseman either.
Right.
But nonetheless, he's going to give you those skills. He does. But Jake, with his 250-ish average, mid-10 homers, 15, 17 homers. Like, those numbers are really good for an offensive second baseman. For an offensive first baseman, they're below average to well below average. So that's what I'm saying by that, is just by putting him at second, and he's a better defender at second than Luis Arraez is, and at least equal to what Xander was last year.
Yeah, this infield should be pretty good. I mean, again, right? You've got Manny, you've got Xander, you've got Jake. They're all working together. You've got Luis Arraez or whoever's going to man first base. Everybody's kind of getting the reps that they need to get during the spring training, and these guys have been working together for a while now. So should be a pretty good defensive infield.
All right, we're going to keep it rolling after this timeout. We've still got at least one clip from Yuli Gurriel. We want to hear from the kids, Ethan Salas and Leo DeVries. And, of course, as the show goes on, we need to hear from Mike Shildt as well on the Daily Shildt. So plenty to go. Let's take a quick timeout and step right back in. Annie and Elsten on The Fan. All right. We need to give away a 4-pack of tickets to a Padres spring training game at Peoria Sports Complex.
Yes, we do.
Along with a qualification for the grand prize of 4 tickets to the Padres Guardians game at Petco Park on April 2nd. Get your spring training tickets now at peoriabaseball.com. First person to answer this very simple trivia question: from what team did the Padres acquire Jake Cronenworth? Who did the Padres get Jake Cronenworth from? That was 5 years ago. But it happened. Who'd they get him from?
It did.
Only been in 2 organizations and only played for one big league team. But you can be the first to answer at 833-288-0973. And you can score spring training tickets with a chance for regular season tickets as well. Good luck to all y'all. Braden's going to hit play on this clip, and then he is going to go screen your calls. This is Yuli Gurriel through translator Danny Sanchez this morning, talking about his opportunity to be a member of the San Diego Padres.
Do you feel younger than 40? Do you feel like you have many years to go? And what do you think the role can be here?
Que si te sientes más joven de 40 y qué opinas de lo que puede ser tu rol aquí en San Diego.
Sí, me siento mucho más joven. De verdad que cuando uno está rodeado de tanto talento y muchachos jóvenes, de verdad que uno lo obliga, ¿no?, a prepararse mejor y a sentirse más joven. Creo que mi rol aquí es ayudar a los muchachos y traer toda la experiencia que he obtenido hasta ahora aquí.
Yeah, you know, I feel good. I think it helps being around so many young athletic guys, right? It keeps you motivated. It makes you want to keep up with them. And as far as my role, again, just kind of be one of the guys, you know, help the team out in whatever role they need me in.
Yuli, what made this opportunity the right opportunity for you?
Bueno, porque esta oportunidad fue la oportunidad correcta para ti.
Bueno, obviamente, primero que la posibilidad, ¿no? Trabajé todo lo que hizo con Manny. Él me estuvo hablando mucho acerca de este equipo. Vi lo que hizo el año pasado y verdad que me encantó el proyecto que tiene.
Yeah, I think the opportunity. You know, obviously I spent a lot of time working out with Manny in the off season, and he would tell me, you know, about the team and just the potential, the success that they've had. So I think just the opportunity here in San Diego.
Bing. When we were asking the question yesterday or the other day, why is Yuli Gurriel here? Like, for what possible reason would we get Yuli Gurriel? The answer is in that quote, Manny Machado.
Mm-hmm.
They worked out together.
Yeah.
Manny wanted him on the team. Manny wants him on the team. So guess what? Yuli Gurriel's going to make the Padres opening day roster. If he goes 1 for 21 in the spring, he's going to make the opening day roster because Manny wants him there.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to be there. Do I personally think it's the proper use of a roster spot? I do not. I think Yuli Gurriel should be in the minor leagues or somewhere else. I don't think he needs to be on this team. But the only thing I will say in his favor is that he has been, in his career, a line-to-line hitter. He has been a bat-to-ball line drive hitter in his career, and that is something the Padres have less of now than they did before because they've lost Profar along the way, because they've lost Solano along the way, Peralta. So while some of the guys they've picked up, Connor Joe, Jason Hayward, are low average hitters, Elias Diaz, low average hitters, Gurriel, if he played, you'd want him to hit for some average. That would be his reason to be there, would be to get line drive hits.
Yeah, in line hopefully with what the Padres are looking for in their offense, and probably trying to go ahead and show that he can do that during the spring training. I think he also was asked about you, Darvish.
He was. Actually, that clip is right below. He basically said, you know, it's an honor to be there, and he's spoken to him.
Yeah, okay.
And you know, and everything's cool. It's basically, you know, and you Darvish is a great player.
Yeah.
You know, so he said the right
as
thing.
usual.
He said the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's fine. You know, and yeah, it was an insensitive thing he did 7.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a mistake. And by the way, at that time, guess what he was doing? He was playing for the Trash Can Astros. He was playing for the team that had a cheating system that got them to the World Series and to the championship. You know, that has been since documented and that got people fired in Houston and is keeping people out of the Hall of Fame. Looking at you, Carlos Beltran. Yuli was right there in the middle. He was hearing the bangs. He was hearing 2 bangs for breaking ball and 1 bang for fastball and whatever else they were doing. So,
Charisma wins the tickets.
All right, Charisma.
First caller, first answer.
I saw her. No, I'm telling you, I saw her ring up first, too. I saw it myself.
That's the advantage of watching on YouTube.
That is true. YouTube's a little bit ahead of the radio.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, but it is.
Sorry, Sushi Sam, you got to call in, buddy.
Yeah, you got to
Can't
try.
just put it in the chat.
Jake Cronenworth was a Tampa Bay Ray.
I was waiting for somebody to say Michigan Wolverine.
Yeah, well, that too. I guess you could have theoretically have won with that answer.
No. You said where did the Padres get him from?
That's true. Well, that's true.
Acquire him from.
The Rays got him from Michigan.
That's right.
And then the Padres got him from the Rays.
Mm-hmm.
In what was at the time called the Tommy Pham trade.
Yeah.
That's right. This Jake Cronenworth guy could pitch.
Yeah, he was like
cool.
exactly.
He's a two-way guy.
The two-way guy in the minors that was intriguing, but you didn't think a whole lot about.
Guess what it is now? It's
now
the Jake Cronenworth trade.
Yeah.
Now everybody in college is a two-way guy.
No doubt. All right, let's move from these veterans to the kids. Let's get to the kids. Ethan Salas spoke yesterday at Padres spring training camp. 18 years young, surrounded by microphones. I think it's kind of cool because he's always been just in pictures to me, in the background, minor league clips. He's a real human being. We got a couple of clips from Ethan Salas. Let's hear what he had to say yesterday.
Does this spring training feel, and is it becoming more and more routine being in the room with all these guys?
Definitely. I would say so. I would definitely say so. Just now I'm last year I was getting comfortable with the guys, I think a lot. This year, a lot more comfortable with a lot of the guys, a lot of the pitching staff. Obviously there's new faces every year, but just trying to be the best teammate I can to guys in this room that are ultimately going to be my teammates one day. Yeah.
What's the front office kind of telling you? Because obviously they need a catcher this year.
No, nothing. Just go out and play ball. Obviously, being in spring training, it's always try to win a job, whether that be here or wherever in the system. That's pretty much it on that. Yeah.
Can you tell me about your relationship with Leo? You mentioned you guys are pretty close, and what's that like?
Yeah, no, Leo's my boy. This is his first big league camp. Just trying to help him out as much as possible. If he has any questions, I always got his back, and just how to be around guys in this clubhouse, how to act and stuff. So.
What part of your game are you hoping improves the most throughout the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, no, definitely. A lot of things. I feel really good on the hitting side right now. I feel really comfortable with the bat in my hands, especially behind the plate as well. Just with some guys, older guys we signed, Maldonado, and a lot of veterans in the clubhouse, just trying to pick their minds and just how does that guy stay in the big leagues for 13 years, just like managing a pitching staff and just being the player he is. So just trying to pick his mind and how he thinks about things a lot of people don't really pay attention to.
What was the biggest challenge for you last year going through minor league ball?
Definitely the just dealing with adversity for the first time. Really never experienced it. Just really didn't know where to go from there. But I thought it was a big learning curve, and really it's gonna benefit my career.
You caught a knuckleball yet?
Yeah. I caught Waldron's bullpen the other day. It's really good.
How different is it?
It's different for sure. You got to be ready for it. But yeah, it's not really framing at that point. It's just like catch the ball and don't get hit. Yeah.
Joe was smiling kind of. Is it one of those things where you're just kind of like, this is going to be an adventure? I'm just going to enjoy the ride.
Yeah. He told me for his pen, I'm going to try to make you miss as many as possible today. And I only missed one, so it's cool.
Yeah, good for him. I mean, he's still growing so much. I mean, he's just a young kid trying to make his way. And I mean, he didn't have the season that he wanted to maybe last year, but did better. Was it the Arizona Fall League? I think that he was looking a little bit better and seemed to find a better swing. But man, look at how young he is and how much he still has room to grow.
Absolutely.
He's doing a great job.
He's got a beautiful shock of hair.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, he's still got a boy voice.
Yeah. I mean, you're at spring training just trying to soak up all you can. You're getting some opportunities, catching the knuckleball, being his lockers right next to Martin Maldonado. That's what you got to be doing at this point, just trying to get as good as you can and learn from the people around you.
And it's really smart work by the Padres and very intentional to have him next to Martin Maldonado, who very well may not be on this team a month from now. But what he's here potentially for is this month, giving Ethan Salas tips, pointers, wisdom, just imparting that knowledge from Maldonado. Maldonado wants to win a job, don't get me wrong. But in reality, he's probably not going to. In reality, probably Camposano and Diaz are going to be the starters for this team, and Sullivan's going to start at AAA, and Maldonado will be designated for assignment the week before the season starts. He's going to have to do something that he hasn't done in 5 years to change that, which is hit 200. So in the meantime, though, every day he can talk to Ethan Salas.
Yeah.
And every day he can pass on a little bit, and who knows when that goes into Salas's playbook, how that manifests later on.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's what you want from these kinds of opportunities. You just, when they went to Camp 44 even, you just want to be able to soak in as much as you can and have it help you as a young player as you're trying to make your way. I mean, how many people probably told him last year, this is going to benefit you. Don't worry, the struggles are going to benefit you. And that's something that every player is going to have to learn at one point or another. So good for him. What is so much of baseball, right? It's like flushing it and moving on, learning and moving on. And it seems like that's what he's doing.
All right, we've got one more clip from Ethan Salas. Let's hear it.
So many people have heard your name at the top of the prospect list for this organization over and over and over again. Does that add any pressure to you? And what do you think about being at the top of that prospect list for the Padres?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's an honor. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, but still got to go out and play baseball. Just enjoy the game every day and ultimately win games.
How much have you learned and adapted in just your short time already with this organization?
I think I've learned a lot. I think I've adapted to a lot of the people around here, a lot of the characters and the different people around here. No, I think I've fit in really well, and just trying to help as much people as I can and learn as much while I'm in this camp.
Your last month of the season and the Arizona Fall League, the bat seemed to come around. What'd you kind of figure out last year midseason?
Went to San Diego, had a little bit of swing changes, ultimately just in a better headspace, more confident with myself, and just went out and just played, just hit. It was fun. Yeah.
But your defense never suffered. As a catcher, you know you have to help the pitching staff out. How tough can that be when things aren't going well at the plate to still be locked in behind it?
Yeah, it's definitely hard putting others before yourself sometimes, but that's our job. That's our job as catchers. It's always catch first. It's always help your pitching staff before yourself, and definitely I learned a lot. I learned a lot through that process. It wasn't easy, but it's for the better. It was good learning curve for me.
Physically, how you handling being behind the plate for a whole 120 plus games now for a couple years as a pro?
Yeah, no, I feel good. I feel healthy. I'm still really young, so just take care of the body and go out and play ball.
Do you, we all look at you like this kid's 18, how the hell is he doing this? How do you view yourself as being as young as you are in the position you are?
I treat myself with respect. I treat myself like a man. Just go out and play ball and have the backs of all my teammates. I think that would gain their trust, help them gain my trust as well.
Where does that maturity level come from at 18 years old?
I don't know. I've always been surrounded by an older crowd, for sure. But I don't know. Just trying to be professional, trying to go out and win games. That's pretty much it.
Great stuff from Ethan Salas.
Yeah, good to hear from him.
Yeah. We've still got time in the segment. Let's go to the other side of the prospect. I mean, from number 1 to number 2, or number 2 to number 1, depending on which ranking you've got. El Mutante, the mutant, Leo DeVries. A couple of clips with him. Of course, this will be through translator Danny Sanchez. But let's hear a little bit from Leo in his first camp.
How do you sum up what the last year has been like? I think at this time last year you were just flying into camp to start here. What has it been like the whole process through your first season and then the off season and getting to here?
Bueno, que en este punto del año pasado apenas estabas volando aquí a Estados Unidos, que si puedes hablar sobre el proceso, cómo te ha ido tu último año.
Me sentí bien, me sentí agradecido del equipo al mandarme para acá, para Arizona, temprano de una vez, desde que llegué. Y me sentí en familia, el equipo me ayudó, me agarró y me dijo, oye, cómo son las cosas y vamos a hacer el mismo trabajo. Y yo le dije, vamos a seguir el mismo juego, el mismo béisbol.
Yeah, it's been a blast. It's been super fun. Obviously, I'm really grateful to the organization. You know, getting here to Arizona last year, the process has been really fun, a lot of learning. But again, I'm really grateful for the opportunity and for the ability that the club has given me to kind of learn and grow and develop in my first year.
How'd you get the nickname The Mutant?
Bueno, tu apodo, el mutante, ¿de dónde salió?
Eso salió de Dominicana desde pequeño. Desde pequeño en la academia me ponían ese apodo. Allá eso es normal, eso es común poner apodo a los peloteros. A lo mejor hacía un buen trabajo y por eso me pusieron el apodo.
Yeah, it goes back to when I was a kid in the Dominican, right? That's a nickname that I got when I was really young. It's kind of a thing out there, you know, everyone gets a nickname, so hopefully that means I'm doing something right.
I like that.
Yeah, good stuff. He's already caught the attention of a lot of the veterans, and I think that, again, another one where this is a camp where you just want to soak in as much as you can.
Yeah, I mean, we heard yesterday Xander talking about working with Leo DeVries
Right.
and having that opportunity. We can hear it from the other side as well. I believe that's part of this second clip with Leo DeVries talking about working with Xander Bogaerts.
End of year baseball, obviously, you're kind of sandwiched in between a couple superstars here. What do you feel like you need to grow the most this preseason to kind of make that leap?
Bueno, pues obviamente que estás entre estrellas, ¿no? Que tú mismo en tu juego, ¿cómo te sientes que puedes crecer más?
Claro, aprendiendo de todo ello, la madurez, la veteranía en el juego y muchos consejos que me dan positivos.
Yeah, learning from all of them, right? Maturing, learning, growing in my game, taking the advice that they give me and becoming a better ball player.
How do you feel like you've progressed in the organization in a way, and what's made you a better player being on the Padres?
Bueno, ¿qué te ha hecho en un jugador mejor estando en los Padres? O sea, hablando del proceso de convirtiéndote en un jugador mejor.
No, todo la rutina, todo lo que tienen los Padres es increíble. Tienen un equipo de trabajo increíble, hablar con los coaches, comunicar todo y aprender cada día sobre el juego.
Yeah, everything, right? The routine, I mean, the processes that they have here in this organization with the Padres is just incredible. So I'm learning a lot, and it's just been an incredible experience.
Do you find any added pressure being a top prospect in an organization like this?
Bueno, siendo uno de los prospectos mejores en la organización, que si hay más presión para ti.
No, para nada. Es el mismo juego, es el mismo béisbol, disfrutar cada día y salir a divertirme en el terreno.
No, it's the same game, right? It's baseball. You know, my game is to just go out there and have fun on the baseball field.
The guy next to you, your locker, Xander Bogaerts, obviously a guy who's been an all-star, a pretty big star in this game. You play the same position. Have you been able to create a relationship with him, and what has that been like?
Bueno, que si puedes hablar sobre la relación entre tú y Bogey, que si has hablado con él, que si puedes hablar sobre la amistad que tienen.
No, claro, Bogey es una tremenda persona, humilde, siempre está aconsejándome desde el primer día que llegó y me vio, siempre se ha comunicado conmigo, me ha dicho cómo caminan las cosas aquí. No solo él, Tati, Machado, todos son tremendas personas aquí en el equipo.
Yeah, he's a tremendous person. You know, I think I've had the opportunity to talk to him. He's always given me advice, taken me under his wing. So he's really been a great teammate. But, you know, same thing with Tatis, same thing with Machado. They've all treated me really good and been really good teammates so far.
One thing that I think, it's not a small thing, Annie, is the fact that the bilinguality of the stars of the San Diego Padres. It can only help someone like a Leo DeVries that he's able to speak in his native language to the stars of the team. They can speak back in the same language. You don't have to have a Danny Sanchez in between he and a Manny, he and a Bogey, he and a Toddy, and that allows, and Salas as well, right? And I think, while it's not, it's not the thing, I think that's an important thing for the club, that they have that ability to communicate with young players in their language.
Yeah, no, 100%. And the more that you look at that clubhouse and just the different cultures that are inside of it and the different guys, I mean, it's really a cool way that everybody kind of, has found a way to connect and to appreciate everyone else in there. So, I mean, he's just another one to come into the fold.
All right, some great sound from Padres spring training. And, it's just exciting. I think, you hear those kids. Ethan Salas isn't going to make the team this year. He'll start either at Double-A or maybe High-A. You don't know. Leo DeVries probably starts at Fort Wayne, just to give him one-step progression above last year when he was starting at Lake Elsinore. So he probably starts at Fort Wayne. I think it's a bit of a challenge to give Salas San Antonio to begin the year and say just start at Double-A. You had a taste of it in the playoffs 2 years before, but really he hit 4 home runs at High-A last year.
Yeah.
And then he hit 4 more homers in the Arizona Fall League. So you feel like, maybe the bat's starting to come around, but I wouldn't be shocked if Salas and DeVries started on the same team at the beginning of 2025 in Fort Wayne with the Tin Caps, and then maybe Salas got a very quick promotion out of there if he had a decent April.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this is like what you want from them. You want them to be able to earn their way out of the minors and really kind of have the confidence that they want to come to the big leagues. I mean, obviously they want to come to the big leagues tomorrow, right? But this is kind of what you want to do. I don't know their timeline. I'm sure the Padres will move them up as quickly as possible. But at the same time, it seems like a good idea to just go ahead and let them grow a little bit more in the minors.
As the show continues, we are hitting the halfway point here of the Wednesday get-together of Annie and Elsten. 12 o'clock Sports Fix is right around the bend, where we'll give you all the information of the sports day that was It'll be a reasonably light fix. I mean, I'll give you the entire NBA scoreboard right now. Done. NHL scoreboard?
Done.
We're set. We got you covered. There's some goals tonight. We'll talk about that. We'll get into a couple of things. Darnay Tripp will join us in our third hour as well. He'll be coming up, second segment of the 12 p.m. hour. We still need to get to Mike Shildt before all is said and done. We're going to find a spot for that in the program going forward. We've got Match Game coming up, lining up the All-Star Celebrity Panel for a lot of fun coming up an hour from now. And at 1 o'clock, we will be introduced to the new head coach of San Diego Legion, a guy who coached Australia's Olympic Rugby Sevens team, John Manenti. We'll chat to him coming up at 1 o'clock as well. So lots of great things to continue. We'll even... SDFC plays on Sunday, Prolific. That'll be on Sunday.
Coming up.
Yeah, we'll probably have an SDFC guest tomorrow. We're working on that. Apple's talking about bringing us their play-by-play announcer as well. So we'll see. We'll have some SDFC coverage as the week continues forward. But 12 o'clock Sports Fix is next. Darnay Tripp on the other side of that. Halfway point of Annie and Elsten. Thanks for being here with us on a very baseball-heavy Wednesday. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. It's brought to you by the Craft Taco. Whether you're craving gourmet tacos for lunch or a craft beer for happy hour, the Craft Taco is the answer. Now open at the Natural History Museum in Balboa Park as well as Sorrento Valley. Okay. It is Wednesday, February 19th. 12 o'clock Sports Fix time on Annie and Elsten. Annie Heilbrunn is here. I'm Craig Elsten. That's Braden Soprenet. We're together in our Odyssey studios overlooking sunny Murphy Canyon, ready to roll till 2 o'clock when Gwen and Chris will check in. Matt Scraby at 6 o'clock. Inside San Diego Baseball with Sammy Levitt from 7 to 9. Full broadcast day on 97.3 The Fan. Let's kick off the fix with what Annie has fixed up for us from the world of spring training baseball.
Yeah, not a ton of moves that I saw today, so we'll take a look at some bigger stories after getting through the Rockies move that I saw. They've signed left-handed reliever Scott Alexander to a one-year major league contract. Alexander, 35, is coming off a strong season, but injury-shortened season with the A's. FanDuel Sports Network has formed a partnership to be distributed as Amazon Prime video channel. So Amazon users in 31 states will be able to watch games involving 12 basketball NBA teams, 6 Major League Baseball teams, and 8 National Hockey teams from next season. The deal bolsters Amazon Sports offering, which also covers the NFL and the WNBA. It'll be $19.99 a month. So there are some Major League teams, not the Padres, but other teams that will be available on Amazon Prime. Let's move to Rob Manfred's Q&A that he held at the Cactus League Media Day last night.
I'm sure that was so much fun.
He touted the, quote, crisp, athletic, and action-packed product that has emerged from MLB's rule changes and the league's increasing reach overseas. Commissioner Rob Manfred expressed enthusiasm for the upcoming 2025 season. He said, quote, our clubs are telling us that they expect we'll be up attendance-wise for the third year in a row. Our ratings across all of our platforms were up in 2024. We're particularly excited that our age 18 to 34 range ratings were up. It's a real focus to make sure we have, quote, the youngest possible audience. Manfred also said that he understands fans' concerns about the Dodgers spending, but he said that the Dodgers have done everything within the rules, thinks it's great for the game to see them put that type of team on the field, but it's going to be critical that they take a look at the system. However, Manfred added that this is the time to celebrate the sport, not start a debate whether a salary cap is needed. He's also planting the seeds for the next CBA, not fixing the television finances issue. He says, quote, look, I don't know that the next CBA is really the way to address the media issue. I think the way to address the media issue over the long haul is really in our next national negotiations after the 2028 season. So it looks like they might kick that can a little farther down the road. And for what it's worth, he called the A's minor league ballpark in Sacramento, quote,
great.
Charming.
Intimate.
It is charming.
Charming.
And said everything is on track for them to move to Vegas in 2028. So what you would expect from Commissioner Manfred at this juncture.
He's a nice guy.
He's a great.
Charming.
Charming.
Our crisp athletic product.
Yes.
Sounds like it.
Oh, yes. And
like
we
something
are
bought at the
hitting
bodega.
our 18 to 34-year-old age demographic.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure you
All
are.
Right.
Killing it
I'm
on
sure you
Instagram.
are. Yeah.
TikTok superstars. Here's
All of
Braden.
it.
Who's part of that 18 to 34 demographic.
Mm-hmm.
Don't necessarily know if I get the same sentiment from my friends, but what do I know compared to what Rob Manfred knows? Everything's great. Everything's great.
Everything's great. Everything's great.
Speaking of
Nothing
a
to see
league,
here.
speaking of a league that says everything is great, the NFL on Wednesday informed its teams that the per team salary cap for 2025 would be between $277.5 million and $281.5 million, with the final figure to be determined following further negotiations with the NFL Players Association. Regardless of where it lands in that range, the salary cap will rise significantly for the second year in a row. Last year saw the largest cap increase of all time as it rose from $224.8 million in 2023 to $255.4 million for the rest of the 2024 season. This year's increase means the cap will have increased by at least $53 million over the past 2 years. That is a league that sounds like they're making a lot of money.
Yes.
I wonder if it's because of these things. I doubt it, but here we go. The Chargers will host the NFL's second regular season game in Brazil. The NFL announced Wednesday, making the franchise the first to play on 5 continents. Chargers will face an opponent to be announced in Sao Paulo on Friday, September 5th, the day after the NFL season kicks off on Thursday night. This game will be the Chargers' first international competition since hosting the Kansas City Chiefs in Mexico City in 2019. The Bolts lost that game 24-19. LA has also played 2 games at London's Wembley Stadium against the Titans in 2018 and against New Orleans in 2008, as well as games in Tokyo, Berlin, and Sydney. AG Spanos said it's an honor to once again represent the NFL in an international stage. It's also a tremendous opportunity to help grow the game and bring the Chargers brand to millions of sports fans across Brazil and Latin America.
Maybe you could rent out a stadium down there.
Yeah. You should just play half your games in Brazil.
Consider it.
Probably get better attendance than for your fans than in the stadium you rent in Los Angeles.
At least get more attention. Guaranteed you'd get more attention in Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is a it's a regular season game.
Season
so
game.
they're going to give up a home game to play in Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Cool.
You know, if they're making an impact in LA, they wouldn't give up home games, but here we are.
It's all right.
I digress. Good luck.
Yes.
Good luck. Aztecs beat down Fresno State last night, 83-60. A big win for San Diego State. Puts their magic number relatively around 3 in terms of wins to clinch an NCAA tournament spot. So 3 more wins for the Aztecs, and you should feel pretty safe in the NCAA tournament if you're an Aztec fan. No guarantee there. They will continue their action on Saturday. Big game in Logan, Utah against Utah State at 5 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. That was the only college game in town in basketball last night. For baseball, you had a crosstown game as San Diego State played UC San Diego. Over in La Jolla, Aztecs jumped out to a 10-3 lead. Tritons came back with 4 more runs later in the contest, and the Aztecs win a Tuesday night against UC San Diego to improve to 2-2 on the season. UCSD now drops to 1-3 in college baseball. Time to play the game.
Get ready, Annie. We're contestants.
Okay.
On this game of let the kids play, or is this too far? Here's the context of the deal. The closer for Georgia is up pitching with runners on first and second, the bottom of the 9th inning, 2 outs on a Tuesday night contest, which is usually a Power 5 school, Power 4 school, versus a mid-major. So it's Georgia, Kennesaw State. Georgia's up 6-4 in Kennesaw State. Again, runners on first and second, 2 outs and an 0-2 count at the plate. So Kennesaw State's down to their final strike. Here's what their closer does on YouTube for our YouTube. I'll try to narrate as we can. He comes set, and then I'm going to cut the sound because they're not going to talk about it. He comes set, and then he looks over at second base. He sticks his tongue out multiple times with wide eyes, then delivers a 100-mile-an-hour pitch. Well, that's not 100, but he throws 100.
Yeah.
Flips his glove in the air, puts his arms up like touchdown Jesus with his glove on the ground, and then welcomes the celebration of the Georgia Bulldogs.
And this is a road game, so he's
on the road at Kennesaw State. So he punches him out, flips his glove, hands are in the air. I'm the greatest thing to ever live.
Yeah.
Bring it on with the hands coming back and forth, clapping it up, and Georgia wins. What do we think?
Very Kenny Powers of him.
I say let the kids play. He'll get humbled when he needs to get humbled, but let the kids play. If you're going to dish it, at some point you'll take it.
That kid is making hundreds of thousands of dollars in NIL money. Gets to play at a great place like Georgia, striking out some kid that's just trying to make it at the college level at Kennesaw State. Get some, you know what? If you want to do it in conference game, go ahead. Get your left fielder killed against Kennesaw State. Come on, man. I think it's a little overblown.
Like I said, it's very Kenny
funny.
Powers. It's very Queso
funny,
Blanco of him.
But like, at what point is it just too much for the guy? Like, at what point is he just disrespecting the other team?
Right there, at that point.
Yeah.
I
The
think
glove
that's
slip or the
point.
tongue? I mean, the tongue thing is
it's
wild.
the like,
look
come
how
on,
great I
bring
am.
it in.
But don't you think he'll get humbled by that at some point?
Oh, someone's going to take him yard.
He will, and that's when he'll throw a hissy fit, and then it'd be like it's not fun anymore. See, that's where I lose it on some of these celebrations.
Yeah.
It's cool when I do it, but then when it happens to me, all of a sudden it's a meltdown, and then all hell breaks loose. So he is one of the better closers in the game. He throws over 100 miles an hour. Probably be a draft pick for
Probably
some
doesn't
major league
need to
team.
do those things.
There you go. There's
Now,
no
would
way-
you
yeah.
like? Let me ask you this: would you like your little league kid doing this?
No, of course
No, you're right. I would
So
not.
if your kids are watching this and they're like, "Oh, I'm just having fun like he is,"
right?
At what point do you cut it off and go like,
Yeah.
"You're not allowed to have fun, but the college kids are"? That's the big debate. Would you want your 8-year-old? Would you want your 8-year-old striking out to another 8-year-old and have them doing this? I mean, let the kids play. It's a slippery slope. It's a dangerous game. But I thought it was funny. At the same time, I could see if Kennesaw State wanted to react to that later in the season.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the final pitch, too, so what are you going to do?
You can't hit the closer. He never comes in.
Right.
Could have charged him.
That would
I
have been
guess.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Join the handshake
Mhm.
line. Now, what if Robert Suarez did this? Be
Well,
hilarious.
he struck out a big leaguer at that point,
That's right.
so, you know.
Beat the Dodgers in a playoff series.
Yeah.
Does the tongue thing at second and flips the glove in the air.
Oh, man.
I think we'd probably love it if he did that.
I would probably love it if that
Yeah.
was the case.
Yeah.
To me, let the kids play once they get to the pros and it's for entertainment.
I would
College
agree.
down.
It's different in the pros,
The
you're
college
right.
level's a little different to
Mhm.
me. But that's it on the.
I like it more
report.
if someone like hits a bit, goes yard, and like I don't care so much about the whole bat flips and all that stuff. But yeah, I guess maybe he could have done without the sticking his tongue out at.
It's Kennesaw State. I think
The
Braden
hitter.
made the biggest point. The
Or the
kids,
runner.
kids drawing
Yeah.
a paycheck.
Yeah.
The guy's
the
getting-
Kennesaw State
yeah.
kid isn't drawing a paycheck.
He's staying in
You
nice
know, like-
hotels. They're flying charter jets.
Okay.
He's getting a paycheck and
Yeah.
his college paid for at Georgia. He's got to be a high draft pick, and you're going against some kid on a Tuesday night that's making his. I don't know anything about this Kennesaw State kid, but it's a little bit different of resources for Kennesaw State than it is for Georgia.
Just a bit. Just a bit.
Do it against Vanderbilt next time.
Good debate, though.
Yes.
All right, I got
Here's
your local
Craig.
report and some NBA news to wrap things up. The local side's pretty light. It's the San Diego Gulls. They will try to keep a 3-game winning streak alive tonight. They will host the Abbotsford Canucks at Pechanga Arena. So if you want to get a little pre-USA Canada hockey fix, you can get it tonight at Pechanga Arena. Face-off is just after 7 o'clock. Then tomorrow night, it's the Four Nations Face-Off Championship. It's the United States and Canada from TD Garden in Boston. That will be a 5 o'clock face-off tomorrow. That game will be on ESPN tomorrow. Tonight, there is one game in the NBA. There's one game in the NBA. The Lakers will play host to the Charlotte Hornets tonight at Crypto.com Arena. LeBron James is listed as questionable with the calf injury that kept him out of the All-Star game. I feel like for appearances, if nothing else, LeBron has to sit out one game. Otherwise, he made it to the All-Star game, took someone's spot, didn't play in the All-Star game, and then plays right away 3 days later. Fishy. So probably LeBron doesn't play tonight, but maybe he does. Regardless, the Lakers are saying that Luka Doncic will have a lessened minutes restriction. He had been playing half the game, no more than like 24, 25 minutes. So now he could be into the 30s, and especially if LeBron's out. This could be the first game that Luka is actually the focal point of the Los Angeles Lakers offense. That could be tonight. Okay, 2 more stories for you. Kyrie being Kyrie, but not in the worst Kyrie way, just being eccentric Kyrie. Kyrie Irving says he would be interested in playing for Team Australia in the 2028 Olympics, as well as in any future NBA USA versus the world type format. Kyrie would like to switch teams and play for the world and not Team USA. Why? Well, Kyrie Irving was born in Melbourne, Australia, but he was raised his entire life in the United States. He's played for Team USA multiple times, including in the Olympics. However, at age 36, which is what he'll be at the time, he is very unlikely to make the 2028 United States Olympic team. But Australia...
That one is on the table.
Australia would probably make the team. He'd probably be the star of the team. So he's saying right now, I'd like to embrace my Australian roots.
Okay. Good day, mate.
I just think it's hilarious. The Kyrie's like, nope, I'm Australian now. Can I be on your team?
Kyrie's
Australia.
way of thinking is
man.
a blessing to us all
Good
sometimes.
day, mate. That reminds me. Last night, a player for San Diego State that came in to pitch he's from Australia, and he threw a ball low. And Ted Mendenhall said he went down under with that pitch.
Oh God!
and he immediately apologized. He said, "I had to, but at least I didn't say good day." Good on you, Ted.
Right.
Yeah, he did not.
That pitch was. I'm going to save that when they play San Diego State next Tuesday. Hopefully,
I just didn't know. I didn't know that Kyrie Irving would be willing to go that close to the corner of the flat Earth
True.
to get to Australia.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're close to the edge at
toilet
that point. You
goes in a different direction.
Yeah, you
right.
might just fall off the edge of the flat Earth if you happen to go to Australia. But apparently, Kyrie is brave in his later age. Last but not least,
Ozzy. Oy, oy, oy.
one of the smartest stories I have read all day. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the superstar of the Oklahoma City Thunder, likely NBA MVP, or at least he'll finish top 1 or 2. Man who is eligible for the Supermax extension in the summer. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has fired his agent and replaced his agent with himself.
Oh.
It's like trying to represent yourself in court.
SGA is now SGA's agent, according to NBA insider Chris Haynes. Now, he has kept his representation for off-court deals, but for his NBA deal, he's going to be in the room.
Nick Castellanos
Yes.
just had this. I saw a clip floating around about him talking about this, how he doesn't want, he said nothing against Scott Boras, but if the decisions about my livelihood and my future are going to be made, I'd like to be in the room talking to the people who are making them instead of having to go through my representation to do it. So he went the same route.
Now, here's the hitch. SGA is just reading the situation because once you are a Supermax player, there are literally only 8 Supermax players in the NBA right now. Luka Doncic was going to become the 9th, then the Dallas Mavericks traded him. Now he can't sign a Supermax. SGA can. It's one number. It's one number.
Yeah.
It's the maximum number. You get that number. A high schooler could negotiate the deal.
Okay.
Anyone could negotiate.
It's just a pay.
Yeah. All he has to do
table.
is walk in
Right.
to Sam Presti and say, I want the most.
I guess he doesn't want to give 3% of that away.
Bingo.
It's smart of him.
Smart.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Instead of
Or
giving
10%, whatever it
away
is.
10%
Yeah.
of his like $500 million deal that he's going to get, he's just going to keep the $50 million because what are they going to say to him? He's going to say, I want the max. And they're going to say, here you go. And that's the contract. That's
He
it.
will not be the last player to do this.
Yeah,
This
what
is
do I need
actually
an
very
agent
smart.
for?
Yeah, and then you could go get an agent after that if you want, or go sign back up. But-
Right. But if you, I mean, listen, it's literally going to apply to 0.25% of NBA players. This is the 9th player in the history of the league that's going to be Supermax. So it's not like everyone can do it.
do that, right.
But the very, very best players, the top 15, 20 players in the league, why wouldn't you
not?
fire your agent?
Yeah, what do you need an agent for?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, cool, man. Thanks for getting me here. I'm going to go ahead and take all the money right now.
It does kind of suck if you've been with a guy that long, or you've been with an agent, a female, a man, whoever it is, for that long, and then you're like, sorry, you're not going to be cut in on this.
Yeah, sorry about the $50 million you thought you were going to make from me that you're not going to make from me.
That does suck if you're an agent. That does suck.
But I'll go ahead and take that $50 million myself. And you know what? Maybe I'll send you a lovely scholarship fund, or maybe I'll help your charitable foundation.
Right. Maybe you can give him a chunk anyways. Like, don't hate the player, hate the game, right?
Yeah. And that is today's 12 o'clock sports
That's
fix.
funny.
You represent yourself for that one time, you get your Supermax, then you've hired a different agent to do all your endorsements.
There you go. That's literally what he's going to
And
do.
then that other agent that gets some younger guy that just wants to break into the agent business. Get the endorsement stuff will be easy.
Hopefully, if he's had the same agent for this long to get here, he does throw that person a bone. I mean, that's probably the right thing to do. But
I doubt that happens.
But I guess not. If you're already saying, like, well, I'm cutting you out, then cold business. But
It's
that's
not-
what it is.
That's the whole thing, though. It's
Yeah.
not baseball. It's
Yeah.
not battling against an imaginary top line.
Right.
And where is it? The line is wherever Steve Cohen draws it. The line is wherever the Dodgers draw it, right? So you need somebody to play the bloody game. Shea has one play, and OKC has one play. You walk in, you ask for the max, they give you the max, we're done. The max is already pre-negotiated, it's in the deal, everyone knows the number.
Yeah.
He gets the number, He walks
That's
out the
it.
door. He walks out the door.
It's like
going
when
to
you
the grocery
hit,
store.
right, or like when you hit and you're not in certain jobs, they tell you, they're like, if you hit this mark or you're here for 2 years or whatever, you get this increase or you get that increase. It's pretty much written in.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful work for SGA. Okay, let's take a time out. When we come back, we're going to catch up with our buddy Darnay Tripp from NBC 739. Match game still to come right here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Hey, don't forget, coming up at 1 o'clock, we will announce today's biggest fan. And that's a chance for somebody out there to qualify for a night in our Odyssey suite at a future Padres game. Register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan. And potentially you can have your name called on a future day. Not today. Today's set. Rest of the week's set. But next week, wide open field.
Exciting.
So, yeah, 973thefan.com/ got it wrong. 973thefansd.com/biggest fan. Sign up now. All right. We got Match Game coming up next segment. Right now, thrilled to welcome to the show, friend for years in the industry, works literally across the street from us at NBC 739. Darnay Tripp is joining us here on Annie and Elsten to talk some San Diego sports. How's it going, Darnay? How are you?
Doing well. It's a beautiful day outside. Maybe it's just like a couple weeks where it's a little bit dreary. All of a sudden, you have like a couple of nice days, and I feel like my spirits are lifted. There's spring training baseball. We get like MLS this weekend in San Diego. A lot of good things. So I'm excited and appreciate you guys having me on.
Love it, Darnay. Yeah, absolutely. It's been very nice outside lately. Taking a look at the Padres, Darnay, what do you look at? What questions do you still have about the Padres? What are your big question marks heading into this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously there's the last spot in the rotation. I think the good news is you have all those guys vying for one spot instead of having to fill two. What exactly do you get out of Jason Hayward and Connor Joe? I think there's a lot of little ones. Maybe like, what do we get out of Xander Bogaerts this year? Maybe that's where we should go. I think there's always some uncertainty, and there's always spots that need to be claimed across the roster. There certainly were a year ago, and I think to AJ Preller's credit, with the Pivetta deal, that feels like it, obviously solved one spot in the rotation and makes it a lot easier to solve the other. But I think when you have a guy that's making $25 million that came here with all the accolades at Xander Bogaerts, who just hasn't really performed, and you lose an all-star in Jerickson Profar, you need that guy to step up. And so I think going into the year, it's like, what do they get out of Xander Bogaerts? Because if he looks like some semblance of the guy we saw in Boston, then that makes life a lot easier for Mike Shildt and solves, I think, some of the potential issues, not necessarily knowing what you're going to get out of left field and what you're going to get out of the catcher and DH spots.
Darnay, yesterday, Eric Grubner said that the Padres consider it a strategic advantage to not be very forthcoming in terms of where their salary, where their payroll is going to line up, in the winter, where it might be at the start of the season. They're going to let the market come to them. And I think everyone feels a lot more comfortable about that today than they did about a week ago today, because it was a few hours after the show that the Nick Pivetta deal was announced a week ago. How important was just not only that contract, but the fact that it pushed the Padres so far over the first competitive balance tax line that now the whole theory of, well, Padres can't spend over the CBT appears to be done?
Yeah, and I think it's good messaging to the club and I think to the fan base as well, because we've spent the last few months, fearing that, do they trade Cease? Do they trade Arraez? Do they try and get comfortably below the CBT? Are they essentially going to punt on this year? And I think you let the team know, let guys like Machado and Tatis know, at least at this juncture, like, we're going for it in 2025. We want to field a competitive team and build on what we did a year ago, and certainly from the fan base as well. Because, the fans have been through it. Like, in this window of years where they've had a contending type team, it has not been smooth sailing. There's been a lot of fits and starts. And so I think it would have been incredibly discouraging to then go the opposite direction that they have. And now they're positioned in such a way where if they do stand pat, and look, there's potentially a deal for a Robert Suarez that could be made. And I don't know if that's quite enough without looking at the numbers to get them below the CBT, probably not, but that would be a start. If they mostly stay put, keep Cease, keep Arraez, then you're looking at a team that certainly has the pieces to contend for a playoff spot, no doubt. And you can always pivot at the deadline. God forbid it's a disastrous first half of the year, but if that were to happen, you're going to get really good value for Dylan Cease and whoever else. And so I like the position that they're in. And it was, like you said, I think a pleasant surprise for all of us to see them, albeit with a creatively structured contract, spend some money to bring in a guy like Nick Pivetta and at least deliver the message that, okay, we're not punting on this year. We're sticking with, like Eric Grubner said yesterday, the vision that we've had for this team. We want to compete, we want to contend, and that continues in 2025.
Yeah, and Darnay Tripp also said yesterday that they don't believe that the ownership struggle has had a big effect on them in the day-to-day proceedings. However, it's hard to know what may or may not have happened without that, if it's affected any deals or if anything's been affected behind the scenes, right? Do you think that there is reason to be concerned going forward with what's going on at the ownership level?
Maybe to an extent. I think, with the wheels turning with John Seidler and him, now positioned in the next few weeks to officially become, chairman on top of control person of the organization, I think to some extent, like the legal proceedings and all that, will hopefully be handled mostly in the background. And I do think, once you get into the season, people, they're focused on what's happening day to day with the baseball team. And if the Padres are playing well and if they're a contending team, they're past the window. Maybe it impacted Roki Sasaki to some degree, but he was probably going to be a Dodger. And maybe it impacted Jerkson Profar even more because he's been around and he has an affection for this club and his role in the clubhouse. But I think once the season starts, you're not going to be shopping for high-cost free agents in May and June. Those guys have teams. AJ Preller can always make a trade. So I think we're getting to a point, especially with John Seidler now kind of positioned to take over, hopefully bring some stability. And we also have to hear from the guy as well. I think that's important too. But I think it feels a little bit less ominous to me now than it did maybe a month or two ago.
Talking with Darnay Tripp, sports anchor for NBC San Diego. And Darnay, before we let you go, I wanted to switch to San Diego FC. They play Sunday afternoon up at Galaxy. The following Saturday, they are at home. Certainly, there's been, 18 months essentially of build-up for San Diego FC. In some ways, I feel like they have engaged and gained penetration in areas of the San Diego soccer market. In others, and maybe the general sports market, I don't know. And I'm just curious for your perspective as another guy in the business, where you think SDFC is right now in terms of their market penetration.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I think there's a lot about this team, including just how good they are. We won't really know until we see them on the field and what a test out of the gates against the defending champs on the road. I will say, I swung by the kickoff party on Sunday, and I was pretty impressed with the turnout. You had the supporter section. They were kind of going through the motions, going through their sort of preseason tune-up, so to speak. But aside from them, there was just a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds kind of meandering around, hearing from the team, checking out the stadium, buying merchandise, this and that. And so I think we'll see a pretty impressive showing once March 1st rolls around. I know, and Craig, you know this as well as anybody, the supporter section is the heartbeat. Almost to a literal degree of fan base, with the thumping of the drums, it kind of gives off that impression. How what the dynamic is there, how big is the supporters section? I think regardless, I think you're going to see a good turnout. And that was kind of the impression that it left me with, you have a really active, passionate group in terms of that supporter section. But I do think you have a lot of maybe more casual fans that are just excited to have another major league team and to have a team and a league that's been sought after for a long time in San Diego. And so I think the people will be out there, but it's going to be a work in progress, and we'll just have to see when the time comes around. But I'm excited that the day is almost here. And like you said, we're coming up on 2 years now since, May of 2023, when they announced. I'm really excited to see them out there and to see just how the community takes hold of them, because we didn't necessarily know exactly what it was going to be like with Loyal and exactly what it was going to be like with Wave, and I think both probably exceeded anybody's expectations, and it wouldn't surprise me if the atmosphere around San Diego FC ended up doing the same.
Yeah, I agree with you, Darnay. I think it's going to be strong up front, and then it's up to the club. I mean, it's up to the club, really, and including those supporters. Like, supporters right now have kind of a blind commitment to the team because there haven't been results. There haven't been a ton of community interactions yet to react to. So it'll be fascinating to see where this all goes. Really appreciate some minutes here, Darnay. Let's make it a regular thing and get you back on soon. Really appreciate your perspective here today on the show.
Of course, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Darnay.
Check him out online on the socials at Darnay Tripp. That's with 2 P's, Tripp.
Yes.
And check him out on NBC 739 as well. And if Ben needs equal time for some sort of broadcaster thing, you know, you can come on, Higgins. You can come on anytime you want. You know, get Jake on as well.
Right,
you know,
right.
Swing through all of the anchors here in town. Appreciate y'all. All right, let's take a time out. It's time to line up the lines because it is a Match Game Wednesday here on Annie and Elsten. Time to get to our Silly Games segment with your opportunity to qualify to get 2 tickets to see Motley Crue in Las Vegas, as well as a hotel stay at Park MGM. We need not 1, but 2 competitors to go head-to-head and take on the All-Star Celebrity Panel on the Match Game. So phone lines open now, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Give us a call during the break. We're going to screen up a couple contestants, and we're going to come back and play Silly Games next. Annie and Elsten on the Fan. Motley Crue just announced a brand new Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live at Park MGM March 28th to April 19th. It's your chance to win a trip to Vegas to see the show live, including 2 tickets to Motley Crue plus a hotel stay at Park MGM. You can get your tickets to Motley Crue, the Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live at Park MGM now at Ticketmaster.com. But your way to qualify is to win the match game. It's a match game Wednesday. Get ready to match the stars. Annie Heilbrunn.
Hello.
Adam Klug.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me back.
He draws the foul. Why was he?
Yeah, this sound on.
Oh, instant
I
foul.
turned it off earlier, and I guess I turned it back on for.
Adam's doing a million
doesn't
things,
matter.
still gets a foul.
If Greg's not here, somebody has to take the foul.
That's fair. That's fair. Braden
Throw the
Suprennan.
flag.
What's up?
And I'm your host, Gene Rayburn. No Scraby today. No on the red. Greg, nonetheless.
Yes.
Couldn't get out of Scrabistan.
Match
Right.
game 97-3 continues forward apace. We have 2 contestants on the line.
Yes,
Sorry.
every time.
Ready to go head-to-head in our very silly game. Contestant number 1 is Sean in San Diego. Hi, Sean. Welcome to the match game.
Turn that radio
Oh,
down.
Sean.
Sean.
Throw the flag. Throw the
Hey,
flag.
that's a foul.
He draws the foul. Foul on Sean for radio up, nonetheless. Welcome to the show, Sean. You're contestant number 1. How you doing today?
I am good. How are you three?
Doing very well. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and Adam's here too, so the 4 of us will accept your greeting. Tell us a little bit about yourself before we play the game.
Just live here in San Diego person, and out and about running around errands today, and figured it was time to see how the match worked.
Nice.
I love it, Sean. All right.
Two quick fouls for Sean. He's got 3 left.
It's okay. You're fine. I think you'll make it to the end of the segment, but be careful. Sean, you're contestant 1. You will be playing contestant number 2. That is Peter in UTC. What's up, Peter? How are you?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great, mate. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, just hanging out at work, listening to the radio as always.
Nice.
Appreciate it, man. Well, here's how it's going to play. Match game is a simple game. The 2 of you are going to go head-to-head. It's going to be played in 2 rounds. In each round, each of you will receive 1 question. When it's your turn, I'll read the prompt. I'll leave you on hold so you can't accidentally blurt out an answer. And then our all-star celebrity panel will write out their best answer to the prompt. Then I'll come back to you, read it to you once again, and get your answer. We'll go around the horn. Every person you match is worth 1 point. And at the end of 2 rounds, and potentially a tiebreaker, whoever has the most points will be today's winner and will qualify for the end of the month grand prize drawing to go see Motley Crue in Las Vegas. That's how the game is played. Sean, because you're contestant 1, you get the option in round 1. Would you like question A or would you like question B?
Let's do B.
B it is. And as we begin the game, we do so with the official Match Game 97-3 disclaimer.
Nice.
All contestants appearing in Match Game 97-3 questions are entirely and 100% fictitious and have no bearing on anybody living or dead. Any such resemblance is entirely coincidental. Almost eerily.
Totally a coincidence.
Thanks, Greg.
Almost eerily coincidental at times. Okay. Round 1, question B. Panelists lock in. I'm playing as well today, so
Locked.
Lock in.
Locked in.
Joyous Jackson says he's working on his batting eye this spring. Meanwhile, Mighty Mud is working on improving his blank. Joyous Jackson's working on his batting eye this spring. Meanwhile, Mighty Mud is working on improving his blank. We will hear when everyone is done with a verbal.
Mine makes sense, but also doesn't make sense.
Mine too.
Done.
I'm done. Annie's done.
Done.
Braden's done. Okay. Sean, back to you, my friend. Joyous Jackson says he's working on his batting eye this spring. Meanwhile, Mighty Mud is working on improving his.
His slippery sidearm pitch.
His slippery sidearm pitch. It's quite a specific answer. Hard to match, but.
I have ice cream eating skills.
Yes, that's a great answer. Great answer. Adam Klug, what do you have?
I went with lava lamp.
Booth setup, yeah.
Or booth
just
setup.
Working on his feng shui
They're always improving that.
in the
That's
booth.
good.
That's good. Braden
I went with
Soprano.
the paper snap, even though Don does some of that.
Don does the paper snap, but he wanted to work on his own.
That's right.
I said Mighty Mud would work on his head shininess.
Yes. This was a hard one.
A little bit of a polish.
Tough one.
Polish that one up there. Little extra gleam. There's a gleam, gentlemen.
It's a gleam, man.
Find the gleam. All right, no
Didn't
match.
find it.
No match for Sean in round one. Peter, that means you get question A in round one. So, Peter, listen up, panelists. Here we go. Colonel Budget is so cheap.
How cheap is
he?
He's so cheap. For Valentine's date night, he took Mrs. Budget to blank. Colonel Budget is so cheap.
How cheap is he?
He's so cheap that for Valentine's date night, he took Mrs. Budget to blank.
I have a cheap Valentine's Day story.
Do you?
Yeah?
Just
There's
saying.
so many places I could put on this.
See how much time there is to them back in. if
Right,
you wanna
right.
get
All
into
right,
it.
all right.
Okay.
I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Everyone let me know when you're done.
I'm ready.
I'm
Okay.
done.
Done?
Done. Braden
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Oh, I got a better answer.
It's gonna make
Oh.
me look like Colonel Budget. Just
I'm good.
throwing
I'm
it
good.
out
I'm
there.
good.
Round one questions are always more difficult. That's the way the game is played. Okay. Peter, we are on
You better
to you,
get a
my
match
friend.
on this one.
You think so?
Yeah.
He could.
There's a lot of good answers.
Peter, Colonel Budget is so cheap. He's so cheap that for Valentine's date night, he took Mrs. Budget to blank.
In and out.
In and out. I mean, I think
Relatively
That's a
cheap.
good answer.
Charisma's in the chat, right?
Yes,
She
charisma,
went to
yes.
In-N-Out.
Like Charisma, that's their annual date night, is to In and Out. What do you got?
I said 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven is, yeah, absolutely.
It's a good one.
Absolutely.
Sizzler.
Sizzler.
That's a good one. Good one.
99-cent only store.
All right. I went with the Costco food court.
We did talk about that.
Costco
Yes.
hot dogs.
How about a $1.50 hot dog and a free drink with a refill?
Yeah.
Colonel Budget.
Can't beat it.
Colonel Budget loves
It's a good one.
a value meal.
$10 pizza, by the way. Costco.
Yeah, $10 big pizza too. Pizza you could eat
Feeds
on
the
for like
family
3
like
days.
Your whole family, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, listen. Round one went the way round one does, Peter, a 0-0 tie. However, it is on to round two, and my friend, you get the option in round two. Would you like question A or question B?
B.
B it is. B it is. 0-0 through round one. Round two, question B. Panelists lock in.
Locked.
In.
Wish we had our regular panel, but it's okay. It's a special night in Scrabistan.
How
everybody.
special is it?
In Scrabistan.
I don't think that part works. But go, continue.
It's
okay.
Tonight is the annual festival of blanks.
Okay.
It's a special night in Scrabistan. Tonight is the annual festival of blanks.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
I'm so
This could be a
excited.
knockout blow right here.
This could be.
Bart Scott, can't wait.
Can't wait.
Everybody got your answer?
It's a
Yes.
Festivus.
Yes.
Yes. Let's see how big of a listener you are.
All right, Peter. Peter, you are being tested now. It's a special night in Scrabistan, Peter. Tonight is the annual festival of...
Conspiracies.
Conspiracies is a good answer.
That is a good answer.
It is a good
Hopefully
answer.
Braden got you.
Oh, you know what? I thought there was only one way to go, but conspiracies was a good answer. There's two ways to go. I
two
said
ways to go.
gripes.
Gripes.
Yes.
I too thought there was one giant answer that
Yes.
I looked at Andy, we both had it. I went gripes.
Yep.
Gripes.
Oh,
And I had gripes.
oh, would have gone
That would have won, basically.
That would have been a winner. That would have been a straight winner. Instead, the field's wide open for
But
Sean and San
conspiracies
Diego.
does make sense.
It's a good
Conspiracies
one.
does make sense.
That is a listener
Back
answer.
out to Allen. No good.
You just need one here to
You
win.
just need one.
One to win.
Oh.
Let's
Here we
to
go.
Overtime.
Or we go to overtime. I have overtime questions ready. Here we go. Round two, question A. Megan said, Irregular Greg has taken this Eagles thing way too far.
How far is he taking it?
2.
Last night, I caught him stuffing feathers in his blank. Megan said, Irregular Greg has taken this Eagles thing way too far. Megan.
Coincidental.
His
Entirely coincidental.
Okay.
All characters are entirely coincidental. Just happened to be, a female name at the front. Megan said, Irregular Greg has taken this Eagles thing way too far. Last night, I saw him stuffing feathers in his blank. And I'm going to write down this. And, okay. What do you got?
You
guys
said
ready?
last night?
Yeah, ready.
Yeah. Last night, I caught him stuffing feathers in his blank.
All right.
Okay.
Please get a match.
Ready? Everybody ready? Okay.
We beg you.
Here we go. We beg you. All right, Sean. Megan said irregular Greg's taking this Eagles thing way too far. By the way, if you're Greg, on the reg Greg is a real person. Irregular Greg's a character, but on the reg Greg's
The real
a big Eagles
person's
fan.
in Nashville.
Yeah.
Right now.
Anyways.
The real person also just happens to be married to someone named Megan.
Yeah.
But wild coincidences that just
Coincidental.
happen to fly past you. Anyways, here's the deal, Sean. Last night, she caught Greg stuffing feathers in his...
Wow. By the way, just for the record, it would be 4-0 right now if I had the other one.
I know.
Choosing A or B is crucial.
Critical.
Such a critical skill set for this.
Critical.
Oh, it is. So where are we going to stuff some eagle feathers in his...
Be careful.
Wow. How weird is Annie going to be with this?
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
It's probably the determinative
The
question.
longest answer wait we've had for a question.
In his...
Need an answer.
Need an answer!
In his teddy bear. In his teddy bear.
In his
Oh,
Teddy bear.
Come
Or stuffed
on.
eagle. You know, it's stuffed eagle. No.
He draws the foul.
Are you kidding me,
Teddy
dude?
bear. In his pants.
His pants!
Pants.
His pants!
In his pants.
Teddy
PJs,
bear.
I gave a little leeway with PJs. At night.
We waited that long for that?
Actually, I appreciate the teddy bear was at least original.
The teddy bear was original.
Original.
It just needed to go pants, bro.
Foul. Even one Cabrillo said
when you
foul.
get to this point in the game, we're just trying to help you out. Like,
Yeah. You know what? In fact, because of foul accumulation, Peter, you're the winner today
Oh.
on foul accumulation. Very, very, very rarely used subclause.
Did
in
Sean
match
foul
game
out?
Rules, but Sean fouled out. It's a 3
Foul
foul
out.
rule. And Peter, you're the winner today. Thanks to all the hard work you did. Congratulations. Stay right there.
I'm not giving you an applause.
I appreciated both contestants. I thought they were very good.
Did we just get shut
Yes.
out?
They were funny.
Yes.
Shut out.
And I looked at the clock and I was unwilling to go any further.
Shut out.
Pants! It's pants!
That's like getting shut out.
Gripes.
Gripes!
It's like getting shut out men's softball.
It's because they're nervous about all the other answers we've had in the past.
Teddy
know.
bear. I
I
can't
know.
believe
Like,
Sean, my guy.
Outthink us.
We waited that long for teddy bear?
That's why the game ended right there. Just sometimes
Foul.
by fiat we make a decision.
The guy from 1542 is getting a foul in the chat. You're out.
Hour number 4 of the show coming up next.
Yep,
Talk to
fouled
the
out.
Legion head coach right after this on the Fan. Welcome back, everybody. Final hour today of the Annie and Elsten program. We'll wait for... Got to give away our biggest fan. We got John Manenti, the new head coach of San Diego Legion, on the line. We're going to chat to him in just a minute. But as we need to do to begin the 1 o'clock hour, we need to congratulate today's biggest fan. It's Gloria Swanson from Alpine.
All right, Gloria.
Gloria.
Gloria. Give us a call back, Gloria, within the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973.
I like the
you'll
manifestors
qualify.
in the chat.
I
Beatrice, Thomas. Hopefully it's another day for you guys.
Hopefully another
Yes.
day. But today is Gloria's day. Gloria, you have until 1:11 to call us at 833-288-0973. If you call us within the next 9.5 minutes, you'll qualify for our grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey suite at a Padres game later this season. And remember, you can register your name at 973thefan.sd.com/biggestfan. Gloria Swanson from Annie's Town, Alpine.
All right.
In Arizona.
Oh, Arizona West.
Arizona West.
Also known as Alpine.
Alpine.
Check it out.
Zach, it's a glorious day.
Indeed
It
is.
is.
It's
It is,
Gloria's Day.
Zach.
It's just
Gloria.
It's Gloria's Day. Well, the San Diego Legion got their home season started, a 40-26 win over a traditional rival, the Seattle Seawolves. And joining us right now, making his Annie and Elsten show debut, is the new head coach of San Diego Legion, John Manenti, is joining us on the 97.3 The Fan hotline. Coach, Craig and Annie here with you. It's a real pleasure. Thanks for giving us a couple minutes today.
Hey, guys. Nice to meet you both, and certainly thanks for having me on.
Oh, the pleasure is ours, sir. Let's start with your path to San Diego. We know that you came from being the Olympic coach, Australia Rugby Sevens. Now you're back to the 15-a-side, full fleshed out rugby club, but you're here in the United States of America. What brought you to Major League Rugby?
Well, I've sort of been following with interest from afar. There's quite a few Australians over here playing and coaching through the MLR, and I'd sort of been following it from afar for a while. And I'd been travelling, I suppose, the world with the Seven Circuit for 9 years, and sort of wanted to, I suppose, stay with one team and travel. When I say travel less, and sort of, get back into 15s and have that interaction with one club for a period of time. So, when an opportunity sort of came up over here, I jumped at the chance to come here and I suppose start something new for me in coaching overseas, and I'd sort of turned down a few opportunities in the past. So it was nice to land at a great town, a great club,
Yeah, and John, you're such an accomplished coach. You've done so much in the past. How different is it to come here and coach rugby stateside and even to produce the passion, I suppose, in this community? How do you kind of evolve that over time and familiarize people with the game?
Well, I suppose there's a couple of different things, but I mean, from my end as the coach, I suppose the first responsibility is preparing the main team for the competition, and hopefully to be successful in that competition. And if I'm doing that well, I'm sort of thinking the fans might jump behind a winning team and come in and support us probably a little bit more. But I mean, we've obviously got a great winning culture here at the Legion, and we've been there or thereabouts since the inception of the league. But the fans are keen to take it one step further and bring a championship back to San Diego. So my brief is probably that we said we win the competition, we win as many games as possible, we get the supporters following us. Then underpinning that is our involvement in the community and growing the game and getting it out to as many schools and kids as possible. And if we do that, we're sort of attacking it from both ends, from the top team, the MLR team, through to the bottom, the bottom with the kids growing through. So hopefully, in 5 or 10 years' time, we've got a team which is, really locally based, San Diegans who have come through our sort of academies and school systems, college systems into the MLR team.
Coach John Manenti, head coach of San Diego Legion, is joining us right now on the hotline. And let's talk about this year's roster. As you mentioned, really, there's a high bar set for San Diego Legion Rugby. This is a club that's played for the MLR Cup a couple of times. It's had some of the great players in the league here. It's had some great players in the history of World Rugby, the current history of World Rugby on the club. What are you counting on as head coach right now? What do you consider the top strengths of your side?
We've worked really hard on consistency of performance, and to do that, we've worked really hard on our fitness and our contact conditioning, so that we can sort of turn up every week. And that seems like maybe a funny thing, but I mean, we can't sort of win one week, lose one week, win one. We've got to be consistent in our performances. So we've worked really hard. We're probably fitter and stronger than we've been in the past, and we're probably more prepared for this stage of the season than we have been in the past. So from that point of view, I think you're going to find a real determined team that works really hard in defence. And then if we get our defence right, we showed on the weekend that we've got plenty of points in us in attack.
And you started off your season, as Craig mentioned, with a dominating win. What did you learn about your team in that game, and what did you see that you want to build on?
We got out to a 35-0 lead, and we looked really sharp with the ball and executed really well. And then our discipline was poor. We gave away 11 penalties in the second half. So on the back of that, we had a couple of players sent off, and we were down on numbers, and we sort of gave them some ascendancy in the second half. So first half was plenty of positives and plenty of things that we're happy with heading in the right direction. And second half, the discipline let us down. But that being said, if you look statistically, we probably shouldn't have been where we were in the game. We tackled, we had the ball half as much as they did. We tackled twice as much as they did. They had more territory, more possessions. So to think we were reasonably dominant on the scoreboard was a fairly good reflection of things we're doing well.
Before we let you go, Coach, you got a couple of weekends here out on the road coming up. Friday at Anthem RC, taking on Old Glory DC the following Saturday. But then Saturday, March 8th, back at Torero Stadium, playing host to Rugby Football Club Los Angeles. What were your thoughts being at Torero Stadium for that opening game, having been at a lot of Legion games, both at Torero and at Snapdragon? It's a great atmosphere either way. You've got intense supporters who back this club either way, but it felt kind of right-sized at Torero in terms of filling it up and really giving you that atmosphere. Did you agree with that after watching the first match?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a real cauldron feel in the middle. The crowd was. I don't know what the numbers were in the end, but I'm thinking somewhere around that sort of 4,000 mark in a 6,000 people stadium. So more or less. So it was really good atmosphere. The fans could feel like they were right on the field with the way the seating set there, and the players felt the crowd and heard the crowd. So I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. On that Saturday night, we play LA a derby match. Obviously, they'll have people coming up for the road trip for the game, and being a Saturday night, should be a real party, sort of feel about it. There's DJs going on, there's music happening, and obviously being on campus with students around and all that sort of thing, there was a really good vibe around the game, and hopefully another good result will make the crowd happy, but it'll be a great game. LA started really well, and they're a really improved side, so it'll be a ding-dong battle by the time we get to round 4.
I like the phrase ding-dong battle. Before we let you go, what part of Australia are you from, and what are your initial thoughts on being here on the west coast of the United States?
I'm from Sydney, and I'm loving it. It's not too dissimilar to living on the northern beaches in Sydney. I'm sort of North County area, so I'm up at Carlsbad, so we're near the beaches, and most of the weather's been pretty good. We had a bit of a dicey one last week, but most of the weather since I've been 3 months I've been here, I haven't seen too much rain. So beautiful blue skies, lovely accommodating people, and welcome you very much. So I'm happy. It's a good town. I think I've picked a good town.
Well, we tend to agree. Coach John Manenti, head coach of San Diego Legion, really appreciate your time. Can't wait to be out at Torero and catch a San Diego Legion match. I've taken my family out at least once every year to go see it. Absolutely love the sport. Got a chance 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, to go to Australia and to see rugby in person and to know how much it is a huge part of the culture of both Australia and New Zealand. So super exciting to see this here in San Diego. And Coach, we wish you the best luck the next couple of weeks on the road and hope to see you out there on the 8th in person.
Awesome. Make sure you come and say hello.
We certainly will. John Manenti, head coach, San Diego Legion 8 Rugby Club. Appreciate you so much. Ding dong battle.
Yeah, how about
Annie.
that?
It's going to be.
It's a good way to phrase it, and it's catchy, right? But no, good for them to get off to a great start as they did, and appreciate hearing from Coach Manenti and what they're trying to do over there.
Yeah, good stuff. Always appreciate supporting our local teams.
Ding dong battle.
That's my takeaway, though, from this show today.
Does he mean ding dong in the term of like hits?
Yeah, like a ding dong,
right.
ding dong. You know,
He's not talking about the hostess treat?
Right.
No, he's not.
Or anything else?
Yeah. He's not like, my old music teacher. You're such a ding dong.
It sounds like a nice thing, but it's really a very physical, hard thing.
Yeah, more like dinging your bell.
Right.
Lee
It's
draws the foul. Are you kidding me?
ring ding a dong battle. Hey, Jake Cronenworth.
Such a foul.
Oh, well.
That should be worth
Never
2.
going to come on with us again.
I don't know. He'll probably have forgotten it a minute from now.
Hopefully.
We're not going to forget.
It's more of a physical thing, a hard thing, is what she said. That's what she said.
She did say that.
And that's what the foul is. There's another one.
The ding dong.
Sadly, I didn't even catch that.
You know what?
Because I was really just trying to
Time out before my team
illustrate how
fouls out right now.
the
Time out.
physicality of rugby.
Time
But
out.
anyways.
We've got some sound from spring training.
I'm
We're
using the
gonna play it
carryover
next.
timeout.
Yeah, right here.
Can't use it in the second half.
Andy and Elsten on the Fan. One more reminder today about the Slam Dunk in Vegas National Contest. It's your chance at the ultimate trip to Las Vegas, and all you have to do is download the Odyssey app, log in, and listen to 97.3 The Fan for at least 1 hour to earn your daily entry into this national contest. The grand prize is travel and accommodations for a winner and 3 guests to Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's premium sports viewing destination, where you can watch the biggest March Hoops party at Stadium Swim, plus $20,000 cash. So, good luck to everybody listening on the Odyssey app. March.
We already played once today. So.
Yeah.
March is coming. Hey.
March is here.
The one thing we have not played today is the Daily Shildt. And thus, this segment becomes your Daily Shildt segment. 1 hour later than normal on the program. Nonetheless, we deliver the Daily Shildt to you. I've dropped 3 clips into the rundown. Braden, beginning with Mike Shildt announcing Friday's preseason Cactus League opening starter.
Wow.
Yes.
Who is it? Who could it be?
Who could it possibly be?
I mean, it could be 3 guys, I guess. Probably. I know it's
going to be somebody.
It's not going to be Joe Musgrove. That's who did it last year.
It's like we talked about yesterday. Somebody is better than anybody.
Yes.
So.
Well, who's it going to be, Mike? We've got to know.
I've got the opening day spring training starter ready, Mr. Burgert.
Nice.
Yeah, Ryan will chuck it, and it'll be great. We're excited.
And
Thanks.
Him because you have lots of guys to put in, and he's the guy who's pitching first.
Yeah, we have. Listen, we've got a lot of candidates, but the guys that are traditional, we're going to be in our rotation. We'll be continue to work on their backfield stuff. Darvish has got a live today, but yeah, a great opportunity for Ryan Burgert, new to the 40-man. See what we got.
Anybody else going that day that would be in that competition?
Yeah, we'll release it out sooner, but it's not necessarily a piggyback situation necessarily. Like sometimes, like to your point, we'll have a starter and another guy competing. That won't necessarily be the case for the exhibition game.
Exhibition game. That's right. It doesn't count.
It doesn't even count.
It doesn't count for the Cactus League
Don't want to give the
standings.
Mariners an edge.
No.
On who they might face.
No.
In a meaningless game.
We're going to put Mr. Burgert out there.
All right. Sounds
Ryan
good.
Burgert, who would currently pencil in, I think, 11th on our depth chart for starters.
Welcome to spring training.
We're going to go to number 11 first.
Meanwhile, other organizations have announced their opening day starter.
Oh, we're not going to get that until
We're not going to get that until you see him run out on the
be
hill.
The last organization to announce it. Yes.
That's on a need-to-know
As Mike
basis.
McCoy would say, you will know when he runs out there.
Mm-hmm.
That when Alex Miniak announces this opening day start, I guess Michael King's pitching today. That's where we're at with this.
Burgert.
Sounds good. Did you see the way he delivered it? Almost like it was, this is good information. They're not going to ask me about the opening day starter if I give them the exhibition day
he
starter.
was excited to give us the okie doke right there. We just got
Top-level trolling.
We got the okie doke, the little crossover layup. For
I did like AC's response. And then you're going to pitch guys after that.
Yeah. It's guys who actually could make the team. Would they pitch?
No, we're not going to release that information yet.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Well, 'cause
Got it.
You don't know, or you're trying to just whatever.
I appreciate Shilty's commitment to the Vetter Cup. He doesn't doesn't want to spill anything against our natural rival.
That we lost last year.
Listen, we got to get hungry.
Hang the banner.
That trophy.
Something we didn't do last year.
That trophy needs
but
to
if
get
you win
moved.
the Vetter Cup,
Yeah. Trophy needs to get moved out of the back office
Hey, we
at
got
T-Mobile Park over to the back office here.
Got 2 championships to win in the next month. And that would be the Vetter Spring Training Cup for Peoria and the Cactus League title.
Yes.
Where everybody gets a TV when they win. That they go to best, they get to pick out a TV.
Angels are just well-worn Cactus League champions.
No, they've done really well in winning the Cactus League. So can't be showing our cards too early here. Even in the preseason game. Remember, this doesn't count towards Cactus League
competitive
standings.
advantages. It's a
right.
big deal.
This is the preseason of the preseason.
I appreciated
on
Shilty
Friday.
Accentuating exhibition. He's like, exhibition.
As opposed to the other Cactus League games.
Right, this
which
one
are
counts.
Yeah.
Right.
A little bit better exhibition?
Preseason. Those
they count towards the I told
They're
you,
also
they're locked in
exhibition.
on the Cactus League. Exhibition for the exhibitions.
Next up for Mike Shildt. Okay. Speaking about Xander Bogaerts, him being at shortstop and perhaps a little bit of his future at shortstop.
For when you and AJ talked to Xander about going back to shortstop, do you remember when exactly? Was it like after the first of the year?
It was prior to the first of the year. Yeah, we spoke to Bogey and Croney, spoke to Bogey first. An open conversation with Bogey. What are your thoughts? We have ours. AJ, more of a, I won't get into his arena, but, him trying to put together a team, which is a challenge to figure out, who's coming back. We had other different options potentially. But once AJ had settled in that it looked like Bogey was going to be the shortstop, we got on the phone, had a really, really good conversation with him over an hour, and he was excited and on board and clearly has come in and trained for it. But that conversation was prior to the new year.
Before Christmas? Or after?
Yeah, before Christmas. Yeah.
Looking back on last year, obviously he had a late start at second base. You guys had some extenuating circumstances, but how do you feel like he handled that last year?
I couldn't have been more pleased. I mean, that was really, and I take responsibility for it, similar to the conversation trying to find out what the roster looked like, and always some moving pieces to that. I mean, it's always in flux a little bit. But we got really towards the very end. I'd gone down to Aruba to sit down and talk with him. We talked about a number of things. We did talk about second base, but we didn't make anything official until, he got here, and his ability to handle that as well as he did with somewhat short notice and go to a new position in the big leagues that he's never played and go get the work. And, listen, I thought he handled it very, very well. And after he got the injury with the shoulder, him coming back, I thought, and the numbers bear it out, he was a plus second baseman defensively and clearly did well and helped us offensively as well in that second half. So I couldn't have asked for him handling it any better. He's a complete pro's pro.
Has he been told shortstop is just for this year and then we'll revisit after the season?
He's been told he's our shortstop, and then, listen, we take it literally one day, but definitely 1 year at a time. But, he's our shortstop, and he looks like he's ready to command that position for a while.
Okay, that last part pretty interesting.
Yeah.
In terms of what they're trying, I think, Annie, is not to make the Rafael Devers mistake of overpromising something that you then wind up wanting to reverse a couple years down the road.
Yeah, and I mean, we know so much changes from year to year. I mean, there's probably no win in Mike Shildt saying he's going to be our shortstop for years to come, or he's only going to be our shortstop this year. There's just no win in that. They don't really know what is probably going to happen, and who's going to be ready when. So, you just want Xander to feel like he is wanted in that position and that he's got a chance to go ahead and take the position that he's had his whole career, right? And hopefully be able to do a good job in it.
It's a question you can't answer. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, AJ Preller could trade for Dansby Swanson tomorrow or something.
Right.
He could go get Trey Turner.
Yeah.
You don't know. Maybe DeVries has a ridiculous season next year or this year in the minors, and then he comes up and he turns into Derek Jeter.
Right.
It's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. You said, Mike, last year that he was your shortstop. Well, this guy showed up.
Yeah, and the last thing you want is Xander also being like, let me move back to shortstop, but now know that a year from now you're going to move me again to second or first or who the heck knows where, or I'm going to be your DH. It's just, there's no win in it. You got to focus on now.
It's like asking, is Manny Machado going to be your third baseman in 8 years?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know the answer to that.
Really depends on
I guess he could be.
One more from Shildt talking about Luis Camposano and his challenges and his battle for playing time here in the spring of 2025.
Mike, Campy came out of the gates on fire last season, kind of hit a wall. What do you guys attribute to him slowing down at the plate last season?
You know what? It's really it wasn't his first year in the big leagues, but his first year playing as much as he was in the big leagues. And especially from the catching position, very demanding position. And we ask a lot of our catchers, from a game planning standpoint. So, probably a combination thing, the league, the feeling of being an everyday catcher. There's a process to that.
How much are you guys needing him to kind of come up and grab that position, or are you guys think he'll be more balanced amongst multiple catchers?
I mean, it's an open competition. Great question. We're open to, who kind of seizes it. But I think the way we see it now is, we have a really good, healthy competition, and we're able to, we got Diaz back, obviously got Maldonado in camp, so he's played for us, performed for us, and had a good offseason. So we have 4 guys that, we can split it up and feel pretty comfortable and confident about.
Fair enough. Didn't bring up his win-loss record that time, I noticed. But
there was that's true. There was a different tone to talking about Luis Campusano a few days ago. Look, Luis Campusano, he's a young player still, and I think on that note, it's like, players can mature at different times. Like I've said before, he could go out and he could be a fantastic player this year, in 5 years. We don't know, like, when is he going to hit that time, if he does at all, right? But he has been given some opportunities within this organization, and while he's improved in some areas, I think it's a big year for him to take another step and to show this organization a little bit more consistency and what he's able to do. You really can't help it for the freak injuries, so I feel for him on that. But whenever he's not injured, it's kind of going to be incumbent on him on just like, and I do believe he works hard. I think he works really hard. I think if it doesn't still work out, you've got to entertain the fact of, like, does he just need a change of scenery? Does he just need a change that's like just not working for him inside this organization? And it's no one's fault necessarily. But he's still young. I mean, he's still got upside. It's just they're in a tough pickle with the catching position. I mean, you don't have necessarily the greatest of options at catcher. So guys are going to have to step up.
Elias Diaz's upside is capped. It's capped. It's about 250, maybe 260. It's maybe 12 homers, maybe 15 homers. It's decent defense behind the plate, nothing spectacular. That's Elias Diaz. That's who he is. He's at the age of his career. There's nothing more inside that cabinet. You're just going to get what's already in there. Luis Campusano still has a ceiling that's yet to be defined.
Yeah.
And the thing that he's got is an offensive carrying tool. He can put the bat on the ball.
Yes.
He can hit for high exit velocity. He's got the ability to be a hitter. I'll give you an alternate history. What if Luis Campusano really hits this year? Like, actually, consistently 280 plus average, doubles, some homers. Not impossible for him to become this team's designated hitter.
Sure. I mean, I think that there's options for him there. If it's not working out for him at the catcher position, I do believe he works hard at the catcher position and he can do it. It's just a matter of like, yeah, exactly. Like, where's that fit going to be? And if he's mashing, no one's probably going to care all that much, right? Like, stick him in the DH spot, let him produce for this team, and worry about the rest of it later, I guess. And what, you kind of got to worry, I guess, also a little bit about what Luis Campusano wants and what he sees for his future. But at this point, you're trying to just help your team produce for your team.
Yeah. Just Luis was not just a struggling defensive catcher last year. He was the lowest rated. He was so poor at the end of the year that in part of those games that the team won, they won it with him collecting 2 pass balls in a game. They won it with him allowing 3 base runner advancements in a game, like over and over again, where you were watching him play and just going, we just can't stick with this. Like, we just literally can't stick with it. And a couple weeks after that, they signed Elias Diaz. They sent Luis Campusano to AAA, and that's where he stayed the rest of the year when this team was going into the playoffs. So, they thought his defense last year, the Padres did, they thought his defense was bad enough that it didn't matter what he hit. They had to put him in the minor leagues because they needed to win games behind the plate. So it's incumbent on him to change that entire narrative, to go from being like, it's almost not enough. Like, if he hit, then we'd be dragging him along at catcher. Like, your bat's good enough that we're accepting your bad play at catcher. If he doesn't improve his performance defensively at catcher, he's a very hard player to play on a regular basis.
Yeah.
That's Campy. Now, what else happened today before we get out of here in this segment? The automated ball strike system was used in live bullpens, including you, Darvish. We're watching it on YouTube. Here's you firing an inside slider, called strike 3. Immediately the hitter taps his head. We go to the automated ball strike system, and just like it does in tennis or in volleyball, pops up right away. and it shows you where the pitch goes. Oh, it's a ball.
It's a ball. Look, this is going to be a story that we follow all spring long. And if you're Mike Shildt, you're looking at it and you're exploring it, but it's not being instituted this year. They've got other things to worry about. So it's like one of those things where learn how to use it, be a little frivolous with it, let it, kind of become a little bit a part of spring training, because you're probably going to have to worry about it in future years. But that's the whole point of this year. It should be very exploratory. Sometimes you're going to get it right, sometimes you're going to get it wrong. The big thing will be eventually, how do you save those, right? You're only going to get so many calls. I think it's 3.
Right.
3 challenges throughout a game.
I think you keep it if you get it right.
Oh, okay, so you get to continue. So like in that one, that they didn't lose a challenge,
they wouldn't lose
right?
a challenge,
exactly. But I think it's going to be interesting. I think you're going to see a lot of players have a lot of thoughts and opinions about this. That'll be probably pretty informative and entertaining.
Well, here's Yu Darvish's opinion after he had to face it for the first time as a veteran pitcher.
What did you think of the ABS system?
僕2球ぐらい多分ストライクっぽいのボールになったんで嫌いです。
I feel like there were probably about 2 pitches that I thought were strikes, but were called ball. Given that, I do not like it.
I love it, you.
Tells how it is.
That's it. That's exactly how it is, right? And I think it's a better system than just going full automation.
100%.
Because there is still a finesse to the game, right? And that's part of being a pitcher, knowing how much you can kind of get away with there. And if that was an actual call, an actual not you didn't have ABS, you would have walked off that mound, struck him out. That's it, So it'll be a good balance, I think.
The way you attacks the corners, I actually think he will probably succeed on balance in the system.
I agree.
I think you'll have some pitches that used to be called balls that were strikes that he's going to get turned around himself compared to the number of times that he just missed that he got the call.
Yeah.
Very last thing, we're going to go to break. We're going to open up the lines right now. 833-288-0973. Ask Us Anything is up next. Your chance to ask the show, anything. And you've got till 1:50 to call the program, 833-288-0973. Let's stack up some phone calls here. Let's get a lot of great interaction going. All we ask is that you have a question ready to ask the show. On the way out, here's a little kicker. I just saw this from Front Office Sports. Yesterday, we did the, in this segment, we did the NHL has won, NBA has lost, NBA All-Star Game stinks. It's awful. NHL Four Nations Face-Off is awesome. Everyone loves it. I just would like to note, for the record, that the USA-Canada hockey match that everyone loved and that is incredibly awesome got 4.4 million viewers, which is higher than many Stanley Cup Finals games and was considered incredible. Meanwhile, the headline on this Front Office Sports piece is NBA All-Star ratings plummet 13% to 4.7 million viewers, which is still more than 4.4. The NBA All-Star Game still outdrew the Four Nations Face-Off USA-Canada match. It still got more viewers than the hockey.
Wow.
It's just that the NBA used to get 8, 9, 10 million viewers a game for the All-Star Game, and now it's down to 5 million. So it's
how
like,
how much
holy
did
cow.
hockey get so far?
4.4.
4? Okay, so
Hockey's trending upward.
Yeah.
And
They are.
basketball's trending down. And if you're
They
the
are.
NBA, you don't even want to be considered competing with the NHL.
Right.
And the fact that you're competing with yourself and you're losing against yourself.
It's all true. It's all true. And I'm
significant
not
drop,
disputing
yeah.
that. And I just wanted that to be, it's a dissonant fact,
Well,
right?
what are
It
you-
clangs in your head.
what are you saying?
What I'm saying is that the NBA has a layer of popularity that is ingrown that is greater
So they got
than
what?
the National Hockey League.
What was their rating?
4.7.
They got a 4.7?
4.7.
What did hockey get?
4.4.
Oh, come on, dude. That's like, what is it, 300,000?
300,000.
A 300,000 difference? You're acting like they're like 5 million in front. The
No.
fact that the NBA is going down that low is a major red flag for the NBA.
It is. It is.
You can't just because that's like being in first place in the standings. You've lost 10 straight games. Like, well, we're still a game up. You're going in the wrong direction.
Except that
like for us for ratings, it's like I'd rather have us do well and beat ourselves than worry about the competition that we've been destroying for the last 3 years.
the perception was that they got trounced. And in reality, I mean, they actually won.
In this particular case, that's kind of getting trounced by a league that never competes with you ever.
That had to
you
put
won by
on
300,000 people.
They essentially had to put on an Olympics to come close to getting the ratings of a crappy NBA All-Star game.
But it shows where they are with the NBA.
Yeah, NBA All-Star game needs fixing. I don't know that it's fixable. They're going to play USA versus the world probably next year, and then that'll do really well, and then everyone will be super happy about it.
I
all these leagues are going down now. All these leagues are going down.
Get in the way of narratives, and in this case, this is a fact that gets in the way of the narrative.
Was the NBA comparing itself to are we just doing that, or do you think they are more concerned with their numbers dropping?
If I'm the NBA, I'm pissed right now that I'm even close to hockey.
That makes sense. I feel that. Nonetheless, all the stories Monday were how much better the NHL did than the NBA. That it was a trouncing, that it was a win. I even said that. It was a win. And it was. It was a win for the NHL. But even their winning, still they didn't actually draw more viewers.
I guess it's the same as the NFL when everyone's like, that's a bad game, and yet it's miles above in viewership than anybody else. So
Right. All right.
But beautiful. I agree. I mean, I think it is a problem for. Don't you think it's a problem for the NBA?
Of course, it's a problem
that they're losing.
They're
viewers?
losing to themselves.
It's a problem,
and the NHL is beating themselves.
Yeah. Again, But every time I bring up popular, the NBA, every time I bring up the NBA, I get the responses from people who don't watch the NBA
because people in San Diego never had a team.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Neil in the chat, the NBA is garbage. I hope the league folds. The NBA is one of the most popular and successful leagues in the world. It's literally the number 3 sport in the country. And it's extraordinarily
hockey's on its heels,
successful.
it sounds like.
Yeah, hockey's dipping at its heels.
When they play an Olympic, when they play in Olympics, yeah. When they put the USA against Canada, yeah. When Winnipeg plays Dallas, no. When Nashville plays Anaheim,
if
no.
One trend continues to do this and the other trend continues to do this, eventually it's going to pass unless something changes. I'd be nervous if I was the NBA.
I like getting into I just like wading into the muck here a little bit, but I want to just put that out there.
I'm not even an NHL hog. It's 300,000 people. Is the difference here? If it would have been like 15 million, you know what I was waiting for? I was waiting for you to say the NBA All-Star Game got 10 million people to watch, and the NHL got 4.3. Not 4.7 or 4.4.
I mean, it's pretty close.
That's a small margin. That is, you know what? I look at a stat sheet of a box score at a basketball game, 4.7. I'm like, oh, it's basically even. That's what I would look at that.
It's close. But one's ahead. I mean,
300. Hey, you know what? 300,000 is a lot.
One's definitely ahead. I'd love to have 300,000 listening to the show right now. That'd be amazing.
Fills Petco Park 6 times.
All right, let's take a break.
It does.
We are back with Ask Us Anything. We'll get to Eric and Juan's calls and yours at 833-288-0973 next. Teddy bear. Still mad about that.
Shutout on match game.
Teddy bear.
I was waiting to drop the classic men's softball phrase. Nobody shuts us out. After you go like 4 innings of not scoring a run in a game that's pitched underhand. In fact, that happened to us on Monday in one of the games. We're getting smoked, and then all of a sudden one of our guys scored, and he yells, "Nobody shuts us out!" Well, apparently you do in the match game. We had a shutout in the match game.
Hard to do.
It's actually, you have to kind of try to do that.
Yeah. And you have to in some way irritate the host enough that I engage in fiat rules, where I just say, by fiat, you have won.
Yes.
It's like the teacher my dad had in high school at Grossmont High School. So the first day of class, the teacher walked in, and of course nobody likes sitting in the front of the class. He put a rock on one of the front desks, and he goes, "That rock will get a C just by being here. If you get less than a C in my class, you're dumber than that rock." Set the tone for the rest of the year. You have to try to get less than a C in my class. That rock will get a C.
That's amazing.
That rock will get at least one
Just
in match
for being
game.
here. Yeah.
That rock would at least get the Scraby answer, right?
That's right. All
If
you got to
nothing else.
try not to get one.
If nothing else.
Congrats to Peter, by the way, who won.
Let's,
He didn't foul out.
Yeah, that's it. And sometimes it's just the key is just not to draw contact.
That's
and then
right.
You're okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the bumper. We got some folks online. Eight three three 288-0973. Lines are now closed. We've got all the callers we need. Here's Eric in Chula Vista. Hi, Eric. How are you?
Good, folks. How you guys doing?
Doing great, mate. Ask us anything.
Hey, a couple of quick comments and a question. First of all, about the ratings for the sports.
Yeah.
I work retail. It's all about comps. What you did against last year.
Sure.
That's what it's all about. So
feel you.
And for the ball strike automatic thing, I wouldn't have anybody who hits 7, 8, 9 use it. It would only be for my best hitters. And as far as that goes, do the pitchers get? My question is, do the pitchers get?
Yeah, the pitcher,
do
the
pitchers
catcher,
get a,
or the hitter.
Yes.
That's how it works, Eric.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
All right.
any one of those three
Awesome.
can signal a challenge on any pitch. But I
Awesome.
kind of
Thanks, guys.
agree.
Have a good week.
Yeah, you too, Eric. I don't know that I necessarily agree, because I feel like if you had the bases loaded and a 3-ball count and you had Elias Diaz at the plate and then ball 4 was outside and it was called a strike, I would want him to challenge that because I want to get the run.
Yeah.
But I kind of understand what he's saying in terms of like, don't let a punch and Judy hitter use up our ABS, or some guy who doesn't know the zone use up our ABS when Manny could use it.
Exactly. I mean, that's what's going to be tricky, right? Like, do the veterans only get to use it? And what if it's late in the game, or what if it's a defining moment in the game? I don't know. Yeah.
Last thing you need is a 2-1 count. Call it a strike. Tyler Wade goes like this. It's ball 3, and then he pops up almost like a courtesy swing.
Right. Yeah,
and then
yeah.
Manny. Then you have none for Manny in the last inning. Gets rung up on a pitch in the other batter's box on 3-2 with the bases loaded. That is a very specific situation, but
it could happen.
It can happen. Hey, based on the way Rafael Devers is playing, you might just use all 3 of them one at bat.
Just boop.
Yep.
Boop,
Nope.
boop,
Nope.
boop.
Nope.
Yep.
I'm a third baseman. Here's Juan in Vista. Hi, Juan. Ask us anything.
Hey guys, hope you're having a great day. My question for you guys is, there's been a ton of rumors about Jose Quintana potentially signing with the Padres. If they do sign him, do you think that guarantees a Cease or Suarez trade, or do you think that's already a guaranteed trade to happen? Either or.
I think it just kind of changes week to week about Cease, whether he's going to get moved or Suarez or not. I think it's still on the table. It sounds like the last we heard, AJ Preller's asking price is maybe starting to get met. Maybe other teams are willing to give him what he wants, but is he willing to trade them at this point? I'm not sure. So I don't know.
Yeah. I personally don't think we're signing Jose Quintana because we signed Nick Pivetta. Now,
True.
They can prove me wrong and sign both, but that would take them over the second apron to be sure. To be sure, because they're not signing Jose Quintana for $1 million. So, in that sense, if they did sign him, it would make me wonder if there was a payroll reduction to come. But that's why I don't think they're going to sign him. because he would be the 5th starter. They signed Kyle Hart. They didn't just sign Kyle Hart to be AAA starter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right? They want to give him a shot.
Yeah, for sure. I think that they want him to succeed and hopefully help them out.
So Quintana would be pushing all those guys to the minors. Be pushing Waldron, Vasquez, and Hart all to the minors right away, because you wouldn't bring in Quintana and sign him now and then not give him a starting rotation
Well, and I mean,
slot.
if you had more money that you were willing to spend, I mean, because you're right. I mean, he's gonna cost something, and so obviously, if you had unlimited funds, you could make a lot of these deals.
I don't think Cease is getting traded. I don't think King is getting traded.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I think they're starting the first 2 games of the season in one order or the other. That's what I think. And come July will come, and when it arrives, we'll see where we are, and we'll work from there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we have this team for 4 months. That's what I think.
I think so too. I think you're looking at a pretty set team. Maybe a few changes, but I don't know if it's going to be anything huge.
Big change coming up. Gwen and Chris coming in. Annie and Elsten heading out. See you tomorrow.
Bye.